Just quickly before we jump in, Andrew, you just got back from DreamHack. Last week you were there at DreamHack on the floor as we did the kick talk. You got a recap for the guys, for anyone who missed out?
Yeah, first and foremost, we're going to be talking to DreamHack about 2025 deal. But listen, from Melbourne to Dallas to Atlanta, we just helped these guys set records like crazy. It was a complete kick takeover over there. I don't care what anyone says. The booth, listen, right when you walked in, our booth was right there. The DreamHack folks knew what they were doing. We had Aisha, we had Lady Desiree, we had Thong DeLong, we had Destro, we had X Stocks making custom images, and we had Mac Prints over there making custom keychains. And then we had Sims Racing, right? And we were giving away a Meta PC. There was constantly something going on over there, man. We had Haley Welch, who came in at the last minute, who's been dipping her toes in the live streaming. She clearly preferred kick. We had Fusi, who came through with his fight night. We had BB Jess, who was on the main stage, who emceed the entire weekend. We had Demi Sucks, who came through with a meet and greet. We had Amaranth, who came through with a meet and greet that did a bunch of panels for us. We had Ben Jammins, who hosted a trivia show. We giving away about $5,000 on his main stage activation. And then we had Underground Uprise do their main stage performance. They did about 5 episodes leading up to DreamHack. Eddie, it was standing room only for these guys, and they absolutely burned the place down on Saturday. So, and then the after parties, man, like that. There was 3 different after parties that kick streamers all went to. Fusi's activation being one of them. We had a mixer Thursday night for the entire kick community. That was a massive turnout. And then just Sunday, man. Usually like Fridays and Sundays are pretty dead in the convention space. Saturday's always a poppin', but man, Sunday was just as poppin'. So that's just a general overview and just throwing out everything there, man. But it was a vibe. It was a good time. And I think more importantly, it's strengthening of the community. So Stockholm is coming up in November 22nd. We're going to be saying hey to all our European friends out there. So DreamHack's been great for us so far. I don't know how it looked from your vantage point out in Melbourne, but would love to get your thoughts, man. And then start dragging in Nazar in here at some point.
Yeah, dude, I was just watching it from social media. I was obviously watching live streams from the category we had set up, the DreamHack Atlanta category. Like it was going off. Like it honestly, like people say like, hey, when's KickCon coming? But I tell you what, like, DreamHack and Kick, we're kind of like intertwined at this stage. Like it seemed like it was seriously like the amount of people you saw repping Kick merch, like it was epic. It just goes to show like how strong that Kick community is, right? Like I think so often, we get drowned out in irrelevant headlines and stuff, but then people forget that there's like so many real people behind Kick, some really fucking awesome people as well. Like I don't think the community sentiment has ever been stronger. Like I think this marks a new high for Kick in terms of solid foundation, in terms of community, in terms of, great creators all banding together to build a platform as strong as this one. It's been incredible to see. And I tell you what, judging from what you mentioned, it's only going to get stronger and stronger. And I think it's just the fact that, conventions and the way that DreamHack put on conventions is they just do a great job, Combine that with some of those names you mentioned before and the whole community backing them. I don't know, it just sounds like a recipe for success. I personally wish I was there. I was watching from the sidelines. I can't take any credit for putting it together. So, great job to everyone who went and made that weekend amazing, and hopefully you all had an awesome time. But Andrew, I'll pass it over to you. Like I said, we got a couple of awesome guests lined up. I think Trainwrecks has randomly decided to join the Discord, but that's great. This is what Kick Talk's all about, is about impromptu, unscripted, fully transparent discussion. So it might be good to have Train on here too. Let's see how we go. This wasn't planned. Train just decided to randomly join the Discord like 5 minutes ago. So we're kind of going a little slight off script here, or not off script, but off plan at least. But we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I'm talking to him right now in Discord. So, hey, Train, if you're listening in, man, you got to I don't know, you got like 30, 40 minutes before we bring you and Rod on. So, if you would like to join the conversation, man, I think it would be epic. But just talking to him in chat right now on our Discord thread. But let me bring in Nazar real quick and I'll gas him up and give you guys a little background on him. There you are. Hell yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Nazar.
Hell yeah, man. Good to see you.
Hey, hey, Andrew.
What's up, man? Hey, listen, this is awesome for me I can't wait to meet you. I think you have had our back, man, since day one. Listen, Eddie, these guys are across everything in the live streaming landscape. Every time I think I know every platform that's out there, these guys surprise me with another one, right? I think these guys track everyone from Nemo to Chiswick to Africa TV to obviously Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. But these guys don't play any games. They straight up tell it how it is. Mad respect for that. These guys came from esports charts, which tracks a lot of esports statistics. And then they crossed over into like more traditional live streaming and things of that nature, right? So just want to say, like, this guy Nazar, as the product manager over at StreamCharts, has been nothing but like on the level, right? Equal. Like, he tells us when we suck. He tells us when we're doing well. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and he's Ukrainian, right? This team is Ukrainian, so there is zero fluff. There is zero like hand-holding in some of this stuff, and I really, really love doing business that way because he's just cut and dry. He gets to the point, and they give balanced reporting across all streaming platforms, which really gives us a really good picture of the live streaming space. But listen, I'm going to kick it over to Nazar, man, and Nazar, let me know if I'm even pronouncing that right, man, because my Ukrainian is Scuffed. And I just want to make sure that that I'm getting your name out there right, man.
Yeah, it's totally fine. You are too kind. It's actually Nazar. So, but Nazar is also okay. So I'm okay with that since when we are working with some American friends, American partners, they have different pronunciation problems. But yeah, it's totally okay.
Hey, Nazar, sorry, Nazar, right?
Yeah,
Nazar
is the correct way in all possible scenarios.
Hey, just real quickly, a few questions from my side before I hand it all over to you. As Andrew just mentioned, obviously you came from tracking sort of esports with esports charts. What kind of paved the way for you and your kind of move towards the creation and now the massive success of StreamsCharts? Like what was that transition like?
Yeah, actually, like esports is our another standalone product. It was founded in back in 2016, since our founders have been involved in esports scene, and it was rapidly growing. But reliable data to measure that growth was lacking. We quickly understand that we need to do it. We need to do something. It all started with different esports events, starting with League of Legends World Championship back in 2016. And then founders understand that we need to develop ways to analyze and combine multiple streams, since eventually we're covering billions of streams over 25 platforms. And in 2020, StreamCharts came out. So we already gathering extensive data on the esports market, and esports is just one part of the live streaming landscape. That's why we decided to launch StreamCharts, to make sure that everyone will see the whole viewership of the live streaming market, especially when it comes not only to some Western platforms, like for example Twitch, YouTube, Kick, etc., but also some like regional-based platforms like Africa TV, who broadcasted in the Korean market, Nemo TV, who is more popular in the Indonesia, and all other platforms that actually exist in the live streaming. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it's incredible the way it's been put together has, been absolutely awesome because, like you mentioned, I think previously a lot of times people would kind of look at streamers and they'd look at them on an individual platform, whether it's even YouTube or whether it was, Twitch, but obviously there's far more platforms out there, right? There is far more going on in terms of creators, and it allows everyone that ability to kind of almost compare and rank them as see fit, right? And I think it's the future, because you guys are, like, from what I understand, the only ones combining all this data together and allowing people to get a holistic view of what the actual streaming landscape looks like. There's obviously tools which track, individual platforms, but the way it kind of works and the way you display that data is incredible. And I truly think it is the future in terms of, being the one and only tool that people are going to end up using for accurately understanding the standing of, where people are and where platforms are as well in terms of the broader landscape. So, me personally, a huge fan since I found you guys. But on that note, quickly, because you guys jumped on Kick real quickly, like, when did you guys know that Kick was like a potential contender in the live streaming phase? Because you guys are fast. Like, you guys picked us up real quick. Like, we're talking like way before there was even like, several thousand viewers. Like, I was like, whoa, these guys are on the ball. Like you picked it up quick. Like, what made you go like, we need to integrate Kick and start tracking them?
Yeah, it's actually the main point was always to react for some trends. When we saw that kicking off, like in terms of it was fourth quarter of 2022, and we started to track all your data since December, I believe, 2022.
Yep.
And in terms of understanding the moment, it's not about a single moment here, because in previous years there have been several platforms who have talked a lot about their plans, breaking sharply into the competition and the live streaming landscape in general, but over time they lacked development quality, didn't listen to the community, either shut down or the metrics was plumped. Mixer is a good example, actually. They have everything in terms of developing, but something went wrong with them. So Kick overtook other non-giant platforms besides Twitch and YouTube. For the first time, it was like fourth quarter of 2023. And throughout 2024, the platform made a series of decisions that allowed to continue to grow. And now we see that you are here to stay for a long time ahead. I believe in it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, I was actually checking out the Kick StreamsCharts statistics earlier this morning, actually, and just quickly looking at the growth from what you guys have tracked, right? And like, if you look at the graph, right, like it's just like on this steady sort of increase almost, ever since like early 2023. Hold on, did you put a stream up right now? Is that? Yeah, Andrew's got the stream up here. Hold on, let's take a look here. I'm trying to connect to it right now. So most watched smaller streaming platforms coming in at 604.82 million hours watched in Q3. That's pretty impressive if you think about it.
Yeah, for sure. So this is a screen from our regular quarterly live streaming landscape report. It's a public version, so we do a lot of reports actually in terms of public. And if you're talking about like smaller streaming platforms, because we have two major giant platforms like YouTube and Twitch, but in terms of smaller platforms, you guys doing really great in terms of overtaking all other stuff, all other platforms. And for example, just in the past quarter, you're recording significant watch time growth of 12 and 12.8%, I believe, and passing the 200 million hours watch milestone, which is pretty impressive when you think that the platform exists only for second year, actually. Also, the platform didn't reach the peaks of the second quarter because you have non-million viewer peaks like in the second quarter, but you steady growth in overall watch time with streamers like Adins, XQC, continue to drive large audience, but you also have some Arabic streamers. You have some MENA streamers from the Latin America also streamers that doing pretty great. And this strategy, establishing a global presence, especially when it comes to the MENA and Latin America, is something that help you to drive some numbers like for the past quarter, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think our continued investment, especially you mentioned that MENA region, obviously Turkey and Latin America have been one of the best decisions we've made. Tapping into those communities, they're incredibly loyal, they're incredibly excited about Kick, and it's been rapid expansion. Andrew, just quickly, if you jump over to the other page, this is the report, but there's a really great page. If you go to platforms, you can scroll up there. Oh, well, you're on the reports. Yeah, scroll up. Go to platforms at the top there. Platforms, scroll up. Yep, you can go Kick. Yeah, there we go. And then go to, so we've got 2030. But you take a look at their average concurrent viewers in the last 7 days. This says something to me. On the back of what we just discussed around DreamHack, take a look at that. The average concurrent viewers in the last 7 days, 394,000, up 62,000 in the last week. That's a record, actually. That's a huge, huge number, representing by far the largest amount of concurrent average viewers in the last 7 days Kick has ever seen. Definitely on the back of some, really large streams recently. If you scroll down again, Andrew, quickly, this graph here is one that I find most interesting. If you scroll down a bit further. Here we go. If you now just get rid of peak viewers, remove peak viewers. Just click peak viewers at the bottom there on the graph. No, to the right.
Below at the bottom.
Yeah, click on peak viewers, remove peak viewers. There we go. So that's actually the graph of Kick's average viewership there. If you take a look at that and you just kind of scroll the numbers across, you can see that the growth there is steady as ever, which is just incredible. Again, guys, this is Nazar's. This is StreamsCharts data that they've been tracking this whole time, and it's all third-party data which is accumulated through tracking every single individual channel on Kick. But it's incredibly insightful, and it just goes to show this continuous growth. Most importantly, compared to other platforms as well, Kick continues to grow, whilst other platforms are kind of either started declining or actually stagnating. So, just continues to show this continued dominance in the market. Again, only, a little under 2 years since Kick's come to fruition, and looking forward to seeing absolute record numbers in October. As we can see, October's already looking incredible. If you just like pull out that existing number there. Yeah, it's looking like
it's only the start of the month, but still impressive.
Yeah. This is, again, the data here is great. I obviously, just like anyone in business, using data points is incredible, and getting caught up in the numbers is great. But yeah, I guess compared to what you've seen on StreamsCharts, you guys have been tracking platforms for a long time. What does the last 18 months for Kick look like, and what do you think the future holds for us, Nazar?
It's actually quite impressive, actually. If we are talking about past year, as I told, the 2024 shows that Kick is here to stay. Kick is here to doing some right things. And for example, the past quarter highlights like a critical shift in the live streaming landscape, where platforms that adapt to the regional dynamics and evolving viewer preferences are outpassing those who rely on traditional strategies. Because, for example, just from this pie chart that Andrew sharing, we see that YouTube dropped its industry share by 4%. At the same time, Kick and Africa TV were two fastest growing non-giant platforms, with Kick increasing its share by 0.6% and Africa TV by 0.8%. And these things show that that platforms that leverage regional engagement can achieve sustainable growth, because the clear message that engagement is the key, and the clear message for the industry is that diversification and audience-specific content strategies, for example, like you do with MENA, like Africa do with the Korean market, are now non-negotiable for long-term success. But there are other negative sides of this. For example, what we see from our comments in social media. Some like other regions, like for example, Kik was more orientated, like 1 year ago, you were more orientated for the English-speaking community. Now your Spanish-speaking community, increased to around quarter of the watch time of the platform. What you guys think about negative reaction from the English-speaking community? What you want to do in the future? Maybe you have some insights about that, so you can make more clear for the English-speaking community that they are still on the board, they are still here. So something like this, yeah.
Yeah, on that note, I think the last so the very early days of Kick, right? I think we immediately were like, all right, English market is what we understand. We have a lot of great connections there. Whether that was the likes of XQC and Trainwrecks and a lot of those big names that came on board early on. But then, as time went on, we're like, hold on a second, there's the rest of the world out there. And we kind of said, okay, we'll leave the English market for a bit. It's doing really, really well. We'll just hold off because things were starting to get a bit competitive there. It was starting to get a bit heated. And we're like, we'll go focus on Turkey. And, straight off the bat, we brought up the whole Turkish community to Kick. I think Kick now has about 80% dominance in terms of the Turkish market. We're like, all right, let's head over to Latin America. We headed over there and did the same. Same with the MENA region as well. So I think, in Spain, Spanish-speaking markets, Kick currently has about a 36% dominance in live streaming first platforms. We typically tend to leave YouTube out of it because YouTube's not really that live streaming first sort of mentality. Obviously, big live streaming, but 36% on that Spanish-speaking and 80% on MENA and on Turkish, which would be great. But now as of about 2 months ago, our focus is completely back onto English-speaking market, right? It's that's the goal again is now to have a real clear run at trying to potentially do the same thing that has been done in those other regions, but again for English. I think English is, at the end of the day, whilst other languages are incredibly important, English certainly does seem to be the driving force behind who remains dominant in the overall market. A lot of the world, English is the most spoken, language, I guess, across all regions. So, establishing a foothold there and continuing to grow there is incredibly important. So, from our side, I put a tweet out about this maybe a few months ago or a few weeks ago, actually, kind of, talking about how we're going to continue to invest more in ensuring that we remain really competitive on the English-speaking side. Again, that doesn't detract at all from our efforts in some of these other regions we're talking about. I don't want to even begin to mention that. But the fact that we aren't giving up on the English market either. I think it's, live streaming is great. It's global, right? Global communities of all types of cultures, all different, geographies, all different languages, right? That's what makes a streaming platform truly successful, we believe, is bringing across all different regions. So, we never want to be known as, hey, look, this place is only for English speaking, this place is only for Spanish speaking. We'll be known as the global streaming platform. So that's always going to be our goal. But again, understanding that remaining very centric around that English language is going to be incredibly important. So that's, something that we're going to continue to reiterate as we, move forward. That's for sure.
The other thing, sorry, Nazar, the other thing is it's forcing us to come up with new ways to connect these audiences, right? We've also talked internally about high levels of interpretation. So that way, if we have someone in Latin America who's in the States, they can easily cross over into the larger Latin American pool, right? There's a lot of great French streamers, like Hard Disk comes to mind, who entertain the audience really, really well. To have tools that, if they want to, they can cross over into the English side and have the tools that they need to interpret chat, to interpret a live stream, or to get a closed caption things up there. My whole point in saying that is to drive home what Eddie is saying, is that technology is making the world a lot smaller. It's making folks connect a lot more. I think the things that like the Kings League does in the space really has started to bridge a lot of the global gap. And then the faster the technology gets on mobile and Starlink that's out there, I mean, I think we're making smart moves in saying, hey, look, like we're a global audience. Yes, English speaking is very, very important, and all of our products launch from the English speaking side. So the English side is definitely leading this charge.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point, and I love the idea about being a global presence. What do you guys actually think about like the Asian markets? Because you have some success with the MENA and you have some success with the Latin America. But when we are talking about Asian markets, as I mentioned, there are a few good players in terms of Africa TV in the Korea. They launched a new platform called Soup that have a good presence in the Thailand, in Thai market. We have also Nima TV in the Indonesia. So do you have some ideas for the future regarding Asian markets and Asian language speaking countries?
Yeah, that's a great point. So we actually just on my stream previous to this had a couple of kick streamers on who are really big in the Filipino region. So we've seen a lot of success in the Philippines recently, which has been really great. From our understanding, the markets in Asia are a little bit different, and the products especially. If you obviously look at sort of Nemo, if you look at some of the even Chinese first streaming platforms, they're a little bit different to what you expect and what you see on, say, YouTube or Twitch or some of the other platforms. So I think, we definitely need to adapt the product a little bit to be able to appeal to those audience. We feel, I think what their expectations for live streaming is a little bit different to some of the, some of those other regions you mentioned, like Latin America, I think are very accustomed to what Kick's product is. Same with, Turkey, same with MENA. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. Obviously, South Korea was one that we really wanted to enter. We haven't had as much luck there recently, but we certainly want to give that a crack. We know that unfortunately, Twitch exited that market, right? And when they did that, we're like, all right, we'll be more than happy to pick that up and give it a crack. But Chiswick, of course, is doing a great job there, right? They've done a really good job at filling that gap, and massive props to them. Incredible product that they've built. Obviously, very well designed, very functional on the back of their sort of bigger brand out there in South Korea. So Asia, of course, is I think probably one of the largest markets out there for live streaming right now. And, not getting amongst that would be sleeping on one of the biggest opportunities that we possibly have. But, breaking into that market and getting traction there is definitely going to be a little bit more difficult, I must say. Very different culture, very different expectations from the market there. Even stuff like payments, right? Completely different in terms of what they expect for making seamless payments that we need to adapt to. But again, I think we're going to be able to definitely give it a red hot crack. When you mentioned Thailand, for example, I think Thailand's something we've been looking into very briefly. I think we could definitely pick up a lot of steam there with the right offerings. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think for now, the focus remains on the English speaking market for the near to medium term future. But at some point, we'll continue to make our way throughout the globe. That's the plan,
Hey, just a heads up, we got about 5-10 more minutes before we start bringing in Rod. So just want to be conscious of time, just to give you a heads up.
Okay. Thanks for backing for this slide. So what I actually also have in my mind, I believe that we like probably the only ones reporting on full YouTube live numbers instead of reporting about only YouTube gaming, because I'm sure that this gives a full picture of the live streaming landscape for the industry. Since YouTube is far ahead more than just gaming, like every other platforms, like Andrew mentioned, Kings League, it's non-gaming content and it's pretty quality content. So in terms of your strategies, I'm wondering what you think about YouTube's competition, because here we see that this is the biggest player on the market with non-gaming content especially, and everybody just saying like Quick versus Twitch versus Kick. But if we are not just talking about gaming content, it's YouTube Live who's the biggest one. Is there something about what YouTube does in terms of live streaming that inspires you to work with Kick. So yeah.
I think it's a great point because YouTube is sometimes forgotten as a player in the live streaming market, right? At the end of the day, they are the biggest. They are huge. They dwarf, even Twitch in terms of viewer hours. I think YouTube has a bit of a different strategy though, right? It isn't really a streaming first platform, right? Obviously, YouTube is video on demand first, and then live streams are kind of like a trickle down effect. So I think the audience you end up attracting is very different. You've typically got people who are creating videos on demand and uploading, VODs, and then subsequently they sometimes go live or they use their channels to help, for example, stream an individual event. It's very different communities is what we find. Very different demographics of viewership, but most importantly, very different demographics of streamers. People who go to YouTube typically aren't sort of a streaming first community. But again, I think what they've done is incredible, right? YouTube is on a scale of its own, a level of its own. It is one of the most visited websites in the world, full stop. So again, I think trying to adopt as much as possible from YouTube is great, but at the same time, I think YouTube loses a lot of that community on the back of how they operate as a website. They're catering to everything video. They're catering to the whole lot. And as a result of that, I think you lose a lot of that kind of community that, for example, Twitch has built, right? I think Twitch has done a great job at fostering such a close community where every streamer, everyone, because it's a streaming first platform. Streaming is what it's all about. And that's the same for Kick, right? Kick is a streaming first platform, and subsequently you create a very tight-knit streaming community. I think YouTube's gone down a different avenue, which have kind of lost that touch. But on the back of it, though, they've just become huge, fucking crazy big, right? Insanely big, which is props to them. But again, I think it comes down to product offering. I think it's a very different product and subsequently a different demographic. What we can learn from YouTube, though, I think there's a lot of takeaways from it. I think if Kick did want to go down an alternative path and start leaning into video on demand and leaning into a different sort of demographic of audience, I think YouTube has certainly cracked the code. But I do believe that it is at this point in time not a path we want to go down. I think fostering that live streaming community is certainly our goal. Making sure that we are going to remain streaming first will always be Kick's center goal. But at the same time, I think YouTube has some incredible product features too. I think just they've got, of course, 2K and 4K streaming available. I believe they've got the rewind feature, which is great. People love that. I think they're lacking a little bit in terms of their chat functionality. They still haven't managed to nail that down, I don't think. I think they're sort of their community in terms of sort of gifting and donations doesn't seem to be quite as strong as, say, Kick or Twitch. But I think they've just done a great job at piercing pretty much the whole entire globe. Everyone knows YouTube, right? It doesn't matter whether you're into live streaming or not. Like you probably watched a live stream on YouTube just due to that sheer number that they've got. But yeah, I think we've got a lot to learn from all platforms. We're fortunate to have these huge successes to look up to and go, hold on, what are they doing right? What can we do to attract that audience? And we constantly kind of do our market research and try to understand why YouTube's here, why Twitch is here, why Africa is here, why is all these other platforms. What are they doing right? And derive inspiration from them, which has been great. But yeah, to answer your question, I think for now we mainly focus towards the live streaming first platforms because that's how we position ourselves.
Yeah, thanks for that. And actually, from my perspective, one of the main features for YouTube when they come to their success is the recommendation system. Because when you are coming to YouTube, the recommendation system that they have is something that pretty outstanding, actually. But also, what other stuff come to my mind is you mentioned some like product features that they have. Twitch also have some other product features for streamers, for viewers, etc. What do you think about development of some like engagement tools for viewers, first of all? Because, for example, engagement tools is something that keep the audience on the platform. So like polls, hype trains, Twitch example, roses like TikTok example. Some Chinese platform, they are just with all about engagement through the chat. So what you guys thinking about engagement tools like the future for the kick, for the viewers especially? Do you have some maybe insight on that part?
Yeah, from our side, everything on the product roadmap right now is really about trying to enhance that viewer experience. And viewer experience is all determined. Like the key performance indicator on that side is engagement and retention, right, of viewers. And that's right now 100% the only goal of Kick from a product perspective, at least in a technological advancement perspective. Building out more tools, whether that be channel points, whether that be, kicks, whether that be, predictions on the back of channel points, whether it be how we, simply derive our application level and customer experience level through our applications and coverage we have across devices, building out that layer for the viewer and subsequently retaining them is by far the most important metric. Right now, of course, I like to say that we offer a really competitive opportunity for streamers, right? 95.5, KCIP, weekly payments, the list goes on. In terms of for streamers, we have a really competitive offering, and I think it's a no-brainer in terms of if people are looking to get into live streaming and they're a live streamer, the Kick's the place to go. But we do recognize where we have to do better, and that's on that retention layer. That's on that viewer retention layer. That's on the what we need to do to ensure people don't just come to Kick and watch one live stream, but they come to Kick, watch many live streams, and they watch longer. We got three sort of main pillars at the moment when we talk about the Kick product. It's we need to ensure that people watch more live streams, they need to watch longer, and there's more to watch. They're the three things we're pushing forward and every single update we do from a product perspective, and that all leans into creating a better viewer experience and better retention, and subsequently that works out better for the streamer too, right? Because their audiences, they stick around longer, and they do more, right? And on the back of what you mentioned before, the recommendations, right? That's huge, right? Being able to make sure that when people come to Kick, they're recommended the right live streams, they're recommended the best content that's best suited to them. That really falls under that category of, watch more, right? We want viewers to come to Kick and we want them to watch more streams, more other streamers as well. And cross-pollinating audiences is going to be really important for ensuring that, somebody comes here and say, watches, comeback stream, but then they see Crayon live and they've got a good, overlap there, and they see Big E, so they're going to go to Big E. So we're going to make sure we start to understand which streamer we, recommend based upon all these analytics that we currently have. And again, that's something we're working on, really, really heavily in the background, and, taking a lot of inspiration from YouTube especially. I think YouTube does an incredible job with that. They are the kings of retention. They're the kings of recommendations. They have got that down to a T, and nobody can do a better job than them. So, a lot of that inspiration is derived from them specifically.
Yeah, thanks for your answer. That's a good point.
We're getting there, though. We're working on it. And, again, we're going to keep checking back on StreamsCharts and, whether it's comparing just our individual streamers and how they're doing against some of the other guys, or, Kick as a whole entire platform. I think it's, you've really gamified the whole streaming sort of atmosphere almost. It's, it's great for just, for not just streamers, but platforms alike to be able there and really to compare everything. Guys, if you haven't already signed up for StreamsCharts, make sure you check it out. Don't forget there's an S after stream. That confuses a few people. StreamsCharts. They've got all the data across all the platforms. Like nobody is doing what they're doing in terms of looking into like the deep dive of analytics in terms of how you can do better as a, data is power, right? Data and the knowledge that comes with it really helps you to understand how to do better, what's working from a content perspective. If you're a live streamer utilizing some of that opportunity there is really incredible. Couldn't recommend it more. Make sure you check it out and utilize all that information. Again, there's so much to gain from that, even from seeing what's working for other streamers, who's up and coming. Again, there's so much information to gain from there. So don't sleep on it at all. StreamsCharts.com.
Thanks for that. You're too kind.
Yeah, we got it pinned up there. And just one other props I want to give to you is 2 points real quick. The algorithm battle that's going on between YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Everyone who's on KCIP should be taking advantage of that, because we do allow you to multi-stream to TikTok and to YouTube Shorts. They are throwing algorithms at you guys, all right? And if you are able to wield and take advantage of that for your KCIP, it's absolutely amazing. YouTube Shorts just launched like 3-minute VODs, which is driving even more traffic to their live streams. So just keep track of that, right? And then the other thing I want to say about StreamCharts is they saved our ass in the early days. I mean, big time in the early days, where we had all the internal numbers, right? But we were still working on like presenting them on our dashboards as we were building. And a lot of our streamers very early on went to StreamsCharts to track their progress in order to get verified or to get their affiliation and all those things. So mad props to StreamCharts to kind of opening themselves up to the Kit community so early on, where I had a lot of conversations with other platforms and they were just kind of like, pay us gobs and gobs of money and we'll see if you're around for the next 3 months. And the thing is that you guys came in and you did it for the community, and we really appreciate that, man. And we really value this relationship, man.
Thanks for that. It's too kind words. Yeah, the community is the key, actually, because if we see some trends that can benefit the community, it's important to us to react on it. So when we see that the key community is growing as much as it's growing with every month, that's the point. Similar to all other platforms, so we do a lot of stuff across all platforms that we have, like Asian market and non-Asian market, also Western platforms. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Thanks for being with us, man.
Awesome.
Thanks for inviting.
Thanks heaps. Really appreciate you coming on as well. We, again, as echoing what Andrew said, all your support means a ton, and we'll be in touch shortly. I know we communicate quite regularly, so appreciate all the help out there, man.
Thank you, and have a nice rest of the episode with Rod.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
See ya.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, big shout out to the guys there. They're I must say their product and what they put together as well is so awesome. They move quickly too. Like just watching StreamsCharts and the leaps and bounds they've made from a product offering. Like they are by far the best analytics website out there now. There's been websites that have been around for like 10 years or so, and they're not even touching on some of the data points and capturing some of the analysis that these guys are doing. I love their write-ups as well. They do great write-ups. They do great analysis on all platforms, on all streamers. They break it down by male, female categories, the whole lot. Some of that data that they put together, even if they post on X as well, is really great. So anyway, can't shout them out enough. They're just great guys, so easy to work with. And the fact that they got behind Kick so early on, supported us at such an early time was incredible too. So anyway, that's enough gassing them up. You guys know where to find them.
Yeah, man. Do you remember that they came out with like a complete tracker for the first class, right?
Yeah.
When we announced the first class, they launched it. So yeah, they pay attention and they totally support us, which is amazing. But at the same time, they do keep us in check, right? They keep us humble. But look, I think the moment everyone's been waiting for, man, is we got Slasher up next. This guy's a freelance Rolling Stones reporter, but not just with that platform, man. This guy's been with like GameSpot and ESPN, and he's an OG in like the esports space with like Quake and Overwatch. And he's just, look, he broke the freaking Dr. Disrespect story, right? So This guy is tapped in. This guy has been tracking us on Twitter. I'm just going to drag him in here real quick, if that's cool, as I continue just this, just, you know, information dump. But I mean, what? Correct me if I'm wrong here, Rod, but like 15, 20 years in the space. You know, when you start commenting on our Twitter posts, we definitely pay attention, and was really happy to see that that you were open to coming on here and talking with us after, you know, making a few exchanges on Twitter, man. And then I think
man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And just a heads up, your camera is off at the moment. It was on during tech check, so just to give you a heads up.
Okay, we're good.
Sweet.
Boom.
We got you.
Right. How's it going, Eddie?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. We were just saying before, the way that we got this up and running, it was just like a back and forth, like, you know, exchange on X, and now we're here, which is awesome. So thank you heaps for taking the time.
Yeah, man, I'm gotta be honest, I'm a little surprised you invited me on. But you know, grateful that you did. Unfortunately, it seems like all the public interactions that we had were when your platform did something incredibly stupid or dangerous or potentially illegal, and then that made me want to comment on it rather than something good. But you know, we're here.
That's all that
looking
matters.
forward to it.
That all that matters.
It.
That's the whole point. Like we say this all the time, right? We bring on a lot of people who are like, you know, kick first creators who add, you know, have so many positive things to say. But one thing we want to do is we want to bring on people who, you know, are on the other side of the fence too. Like you said, highlighting the good and the bad. There's a whole bunch of great thing that happens on Kick, but at the same time, we're not going to shy away from the fact that there has been mistakes that have been made. There has been a lot of learnings these last 2 years. And, you know, someone like yourself, you've been, you know, you got your finger on the pulse in terms of every aspect of this industry. You got your finger on the pulse in terms of every aspect of a whole lot of other genres. So you know what's going on. And, you know, and we just got Train joining here as well. Train, are you going to put your camera on?
My camera is out of service at the moment here.
Of course it is. You know, how you doing, Train? You know, I expected to get gangbanged when I came on, and you're making my dreams come true.
Yeah, don't worry.
Bang me, baby.
There will be no gangbanging today.
Hey,
why not, man? I was looking forward to that.
Hey, this is a friendly. This is a complete friendly.
It's always friendly. We're here to have a good time.
Wait,
nice little fun chat.
Slasher and Train, do you guys go back like a long while or something, or?
Long while, yeah, long while.
Yeah, really? Is that a good or bad thing?
Well, see, it's good, but this is the problem, that you two don't know this is remarkably stupid on both of your ends, just to be completely honest. For you two not to know that me and Train have known each other for a very long time. Not sure how you don't know that. For you not to know that me and like XQC have known each other for like even longer than Train, you should know that. To call me Santa Maria, you call me a Rolling Stone writer, that is like 0.001% of maybe what anyone would refer to me as, or who would know me.
I said freelance. I said freelance.
Yes. I only did one thing, okay, with them for a very specific story and issue.
It's the most recent.
That, sure, but I'm telling you, no one fucking knows me as the Rolling Stone writer guy. Like, not a singular person in the world. So it just means neither of you done your research, which is okay. I understand. I'm used to that.
Just real quick. So you never were a freelance writer for the Rolling Stones and wrote a piece on Dr. I just want to make sure that I got my tweet right. Did that happen?
No, the tweet is accurate. I'm just saying no one who would know me or might know me would know me as the Rolling Stone writer guy. I'm just saying, of all the ways you could have described me, esports dude, guy that leaks everything, guy that pisses everyone off, even the Dr. Disrespect band dude.
I think that your best
would have been more appropriate.
I think your best work is what you did with the Army. And when you were trolling the Army back in the day, I think that was your best piece of work, right? But here's the thing, for our audience,
we're really good at war crimes, by the way. We are #1 in the world at war crimes.
And
Way
in its
ahead of
current
everybody else.
in its current relevancy, like the Dr. Disrespect was massive thing, right? Like, and then that article with Rolling Stones, and I know that Rolling Stones is ass these days, so maybe having like that association there might be like a downer for you. It was no ill will towards you though. No ill
No,
will.
no, I'm
Yeah.
just messing with you. And no, it was a good association. I think that they are. You can have your opinion about Rolling Stone. I don't work for them full time. It's all good. But I thought that was an appropriate outlet for that story. To be honest, I think they did a good job. They were very supportive of me, telling me not to say any dumb shit on podcasts, which I immediately ignored with both Destiny and Hassan about an hour after they had their little meeting with me. But they were very good. They were good.
Hey, Slasher, just real quickly from my side, I got like a few real quick questions that I'll kind of hand it over to you because I think you probably got the more interesting stuff to talk about than me. But like from your side, like how did Kick first get on your radar and what did you first think of it as like kind of somebody who's been in the space for a while and been kind of covering it for a bit?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, I've known Train for a very long time. We didn't exactly get along with each other at the very beginning, but we, through that animosity, became very good friends. And I have had a great time doing the Scuffed podcast with him and complaining about Twitch pretty much every single week and all the dumb shit that they were doing relatively from like 2019 to 2021, 2022. Twitch is doing dumb shit almost every single day. And that's what the show ended up being. So when things were happening and the early on, before Kick was even announced or anything, like I had insight on what was happening behind the scenes and, the beginnings of what would eventually be Kick and Train wanting to do certain things. And just to be completely honest here, especially with the beginnings of Kick and how it was founded, I never had any issue. I wasn't online during this time because of the whole Dr. Disrespect thing, which is a whole unrelated thing. But like, I never had personally, with the real foundation of Kick was due to all of the gambling ban, especially on Twitch, and how that came to be. And because you guys own stake, obviously the platform is to drive people to use stake. So in that way, like there was a massive uproar with many streamers about how they're anti-gambling or how they didn't want gambling on Twitch and how, they didn't like Kick because of all that. I never have given a shit about any of this. I found the entire reason, like it's so funny, and I've spoken to Craven about this. I'm probably on the minority here, but like the entire way that Twitch ended up banning gambling had actually nothing to do, not fully, but nothing really to do with stake and slots. It was all because fucking Slicker, couldn't figure out that all you had to do was bet on Djokovic or Federer or Nadal, and somehow he lost like $500,000 betting on tennis. I don't know how that's physically possible when only 3 guys have won
Hold
the
on,
last
yeah.
like 30
Tennis,
majors
hold
in
on.
tennis.
Tennis and horse racing and hear me out here, on sites that are still allowed on Twitch. He lost it on sites that are allowed on Twitch still to this day.
Yeah, and to double down on that real quick, Slasher, like you don't think that had anything to do with the DraftKings NFL Prime Video deal? You don't think that dipped its toe into that whole debacle that went down? Do you think maybe Slicker might have been like a convenient scapegoat?
Like on top of the unbelievable story about Slicker owing like $500,000 to like dozens of streamers, that is what actually mobilized like the entire community to be all mad about gambling, not even really the slot stuff. But as you mentioned, I'm a big sports guy, especially an American sports guy. I watch football, I watch basketball, I'm watching the baseball playoffs now, the hockey season just started. I am inundated by gambling ads every single day, every platform, Fox, CBS, ABC, ESPN, MSG, DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, every single day, every single hour, every single game. I personally, at this point, do not give a shit if people are playing slots on stake. Like that has generally been my philosophy from the beginning. I have never had the type of issue that other people have had with Train, for example, playing slots on stake. When I'm watching the biggest media networks in the world push and shove down gambling in everyone's throat across the country. At a certain point, I'm just like, I don't fucking care about the slot shit. If everyone wants to get mad about Twitch, about slots, none of you are sports fans. None of you are actually seeing what's happening. So I was never, at the beginning, cared at all about why everyone else is mad about Twitch existing. I was always like, all right, yeah, this is good. Put everyone on one platform, have everybody play slots there, have everybody do sports betting on the platform, whatever. It's fine. I don't care really.
Yeah, I think just one thing you mentioned there. So yeah, obviously, like I guess we're on Twitch and you know obviously people like Train, people like XQC, you know a few people were you know working with us on Stake, right? And then when they banned us, I must say it was kind of like we're kind of like what the fuck, right? It was a bit strange how the whole thing came about, and naturally it segued into hold on a second, let's put together a platform here and use this as like a great opportunity because we've already leveraged these incredible relationships with the likes of all these huge creators. But you know at the same time, like nowadays, like Kick and the whole entire agenda behind Kick right now sits completely separate, as we've continued to demonstrate these last 2 years, right? Like at the end of the day, Stake sits over here and Kick sits over here. Like, you know, from our side though, if we were just here to push Stake, we'd be on YouTube, would be on fucking Facebook Gaming, would be sitting on other people's platforms. We don't have to like fund a whole platform to push an agenda like that, right? It kind of doesn't make exactly all that much sense. But you know, on to your main point there, you know, the simple fact that we're inundated with gambling everywhere nowadays, and then the fact that I think people like suddenly took out all their anger on people like, you know, Train, and then subsequently the platforms they were using was certainly a strange turn of events. But you know, at the end of the day, I guess that's live streaming in general though. I think a lot of live streaming and a lot of the decisions made behind it are just based upon the fact that the community gets up in arms about stuff and you have to act. And we've quickly found that out with Kick, right? And one thing we've learned is like, hold on a second, you actually have this community that you kind of have to look out for. And if you don't please them, you're kind of fucked sometimes. Like you got to be careful. Like you've got to listen to what the community wants. And I think at the time, that's what the community on Twitch wanted. They wanted to see someone go down, and that happened to be, you know, the platforms Train was using, the platform XQC was using, and they're like, all right, they're the bad guys, let's get rid of them. And I think, to be fair, at the time, everyone was like, you know, they're happy about it, and they chalked up a win and they moved on. And subsequently, Kick was born though, and I think I don't know whether they look back and go, hold on, should we probably have done that or not? I don't know. I think, you know, competition is great. You know, competition is healthy. It's hopefully, you know, working out well for everyone involved, and hopefully creators as well. I like to think that, you know, even Train, you put out a tweet this morning in regards to, hold on a second, you know, people forget that, hold on, Kick is obviously pushing the boundaries of what, you know, live streaming is doing, and subsequently forcing competitors to not, you know, be overly greedy and hopefully innovate a bit, right? Which is awesome. You know, even if it's even to the slightest extent, I think that's healthy for the whole entire live streaming industry. And if at the end of the day that all came about because of the what we mentioned before, then I think it's subsequently been an incredible outcome.
That's what we should talk about right now. What we should talk about right now is why are people so quick to call Kick out on its mistakes rather than celebrate the innovations, celebrate the situation we've created in which Twitch now has to do better, right? A lot of the recent changes we've seen in the last 2 years on Twitch has been, listen, there are changes that are in benefit to the creators on their platform, are contradictory to the features they are rolling out. So you have to assume, if that's the case, they're only releasing those pro creator benefits because of Kick's existence, right? For example, when you increase sub revenue, right? Or sorry, when you increase sub price, when you take away creator sub split, right? You lower their sub splits. When you do all these things, it shows that before Kick was invented, they were planning on doing this and planning on giving nothing back. Kick's existence made them have to create more, create better sub-splits, create better versions of the subscription revenue for creators. Furthermore, I also think this, The non-exclusivity clause that Twitch added in, given I still think it's a little manipulative in the wording, that is entirely because of Kick. They would never in a million years change that in any way if it wasn't for Kick. I think the problem with Twitch right now is its creators are completely in a slave state and its creators are completely brainwashed. The fact that Twitch can take away 100%, I'm giving an example here. This part's an example. The fact that Twitch can take away 100% and then give back 20%, and then the people are in a cheer and celebrations. Oh my goodness. It's like, how are these people not realizing? Twitch has taken something that is not theirs, given them a little fraction of a piece, right, of what is already theirs, what has been stolen from them, and people are celebrating that piece that's been given. The entire thing is yours. More people need to be shouting that at the rooftops, right? Or on the rooftops. The problem is that people who are responsible, in my opinion, in the shouting on the rooftops are all on Twitch contracts, making crazy ad revenue because of their ad deals, making crazy money from Twitch to simply shut the fuck up about it. Do you understand? This is the problem. This is what needs to be talked about, but no one wants to talk about it. Because unfortunately, the narrative here is Kick bad guy, Twitch good guy. And even though Twitch operates in the greediest, most stingy, selfish ways, no one wants to bring light to that. And that's just disgusting.
Okay, wait a minute, Train. We did your show, Scuffed. Every single week we talk shit about Twitch and how they were doing things wrong. It's not like this is a thing that has never been spoken before.
No, my show. That's
swept
right.
under the rug.
Yeah, but that was my show, right? Now that my show's gone, it's gone.
Okay,
right? It's not happening.
No, criticizing Twitch for a very long time has been a mainstream issue. Like, it's not like going against Twitch is a hot take. All right, you might think it
YouTube
is
and TikTok
at the moment.
YouTube and TikTok dip their beaks into the same pool.
It's just that Twitch gets a ton of criticism all of the time.
I'm going to ask this directly. I don't want to name any names just for the sake of any bullshit or any legal stuff. I'm just going to be very discreet with you. I know everyone's going to know what I'm talking about, okay? Do you think, okay, this example is for YouTube. Do you think if a certain streamer didn't get banned on Kick, do you think there would be the same silence there is that this individual wasn't banned on YouTube? Do you think we would be held and slandered and called crazy different names and supporters of said acts, right? If we did an act versus YouTube not acting, and there's literal radio silence. No one is saying a fucking word. Do you find that to be consistent? Do you find that to be at all normal? There's no fucking way.
YouTube and Twitch definitely get more criticism than Kick does, just by virtue of the scale of the platforms and the popularity of the streamers and the creators on the platforms. Yeah, do you know why? Is because Kick, since its inception, has seemingly attracted the worst people on the entire fucking internet to do awful things constantly on the platform to give everyone the notion that Kick is not a good platform to be on or to stream on or to be associated with. That is why Kick, to many people, needed to buy out major streamers and to offer exclusive deals. Otherwise, they would never stream on the platform. It is Kick's own fault that people have this perception of the platform, as we just saw at TwitchCon a couple weeks ago, which is why I'm on the show to begin with. That's not fucking bullshit, Train. Every other day, every other week, some Kick streamer is assaulting someone or harassing someone or doing something illegal, and some major news story has to keep happening.
And all of those people will continue to get banned. The problem is, okay, listen.
Then why do you keep attracting these types of streamers since the beginning? It's not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that these streamers have been on Kick. It is not a coincidence that these people are here.
These streamers were all also on Twitch, and they were banned after they made the same mistakes they're making on Kick. Do you understand? Stop pretending as if Twitch had some sort of algorithm that caught these people like it's fucking Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Twitch couldn't have known the same way we couldn't have known. To say that we attract that, no, Twitch attracted it as well. Don't forget Twitch's 15-year history. Twitch had an entire airport shut down because of bomb threats. Do you understand that? Do you see that on Kick? Is anyone bringing that up?
Now, okay, that same streamer is on
because
Kick.
People, and here's why. The very ideology that Twitch's popular demographics hold, right? The liberal ideology of rehabilitation, we believe in second chances, the same way you guys preach you do. But wait a second, you only preach it for the clout. You don't actually apply it to anything.
I'm
referring to Twitch and the demographics. Do you understand? Just because that individual made a mistake 10 years ago doesn't mean he can't change and understand and learn from his mistake.
I agree with this, though.
And as far as the streamers that we attract,
I agree with this.
And as far as the streamers we attract, the same way they made a mistake on Twitch first, and then they got banned, the same thing applies with Kick. They make a mistake here, and then they get banned. The problem is no one reports on the ban. Do you understand? Because it's not news. It doesn't fit their narrative. The narrative they want to push is ignore the 10,000 good streamers, highlight the 3 terrible streamers, and then after the 3 terrible streamers are banned, let's not report that they're banned because it doesn't match our narrative. Do you understand?
I think a tough part also is that when they report on these streamers, they don't dig a little and notice that these guys have already been banned. Right.
They were suspended at one point, probably not long enough, and then they came back and did something even worse than what they were suspended before.
Well, okay,
and then eventually you had to ban them, even though you had notice or you knew things beforehand that could have led you to a different decision.
Well, I mean, look, we've banned a lot of people moving forward that people thought never would get banned, right? I mean, anyone from Zerka to Heel Mike to recently Jack Doherty.
Oh, come on. Anyone with a brain knew who Zerka and Heel Mike were before they ever joined your platform. I did. So did Train, because we've known these guys for forever. Sure. It was an inevitability for some of the shit that they were going to do. You knew that was going to happen. If you didn't know this was going to happen, it's your fault for not knowing your streamers, for not knowing the people who are streaming on your platform.
Heel Mike and Zerka got banned from Kick before they got banned from Twitch, actually. We banned them before they did, and they went back to Twitch and they got banned.
Same with Jack Doherty. Same with Jack. Jack is currently streaming on Twitch, man. He's if your same sentiment is that, why isn't Twitch banning Jack off the rip as soon as he fires up on a live stream? If they know that this is coming, okay, but here's the deal. It doesn't work that way, man. What happens is that we can't monitor all platforms, okay? If someone comes over to Kick and they change their ways and they keep streaming, which a lot of streamers have done, right? And we take more of listen, we were the first to share screenshots. We were the first to share clips. So there's a private conversation that's happening on the background too, right? And then what does Twitch do? They come out and announce at TwitchCon, hey, we're going to start being transparent about the bans that we're doing. This goes back to what Train is saying as far as like changing the game in the live streaming space, all right? The thing is with Twitch is that they have, in my opinion, other platforms have done this holier than thou aspect where no one gets a second chance, where no one gets a second crack at things, and that there just has to be ban, isolate, as opposed to reforming and trying to get things on the right track so that they can push live streaming, so that they can take that crazy energy that they have. Look at the stuff that Fusi's doing, man. Look at the stuff that, I mean, Neon put out a video recently saying that he was going to try to change his ways. Like if you were to ban Mr. Beast on half of the comments that he made earlier in his career, we would have no Mr. Beast.
I think
I'm not about being a hall monitor. I don't want to say that any specific person should be banned, because I have seen so much shit from so many different people and streamers and creators over time that there's about a million different reasons of why XYZ should have been banned, or that they were wrongfully banned, or it was too long, or it wasn't long enough. So I understand. And I mean, look, to your point, Twitch has unsuspended people who were permanently banned before. They have done rehabilitation on permanently banned streamers. Like, that platform has done the things that you are talking about. I would say they are further ahead than Kick is in terms of rehabilitating streamers who have done bad things. I understand
they've had 20 years to be ahead.
Yes. Twitch has had a much longer time. Twitch is a much bigger company. They have more employees. They have a much bigger trust and safety service there. They have law enforcement, which has more experience than Kick does. You do get some leeway, all right, in terms of how young the company is and the culture is compared to how long Twitch has been around and the infrastructure that YouTube and Google have. Look, I fully understand that, but the entire reason, especially that I'm even here, is due to, for example, like what happened at TwitchCon, and IRL streamers coming to cause disruption and problems there.
Before you go there, let me say this and make this clear, okay? And Eddie can be my witness here, okay? So, because as much as you think I am a thorn in Kick's ass, the same way I was a thorn in Twitch's ass when I was doing my Scuffed podcast. Any streamer who does what happened at TwitchCon or any event at all, in my opinion, is not only an embarrassment to not just Kick, but to live streaming in general. It is a disgrace. It is disgusting. Do you understand? That behavior should be banned instantaneously and not welcome back until some sort of rehabilitation sentence or whatever the case is to show that the individual understands what they did and they won't do it again, and an understanding that if they do it again, they will be gone for good. Like something like this needs to be implemented, because in my opinion, when I see that kind of stuff, it's embarrassing. I get secondhand embarrassment. There is no excuse. There's no excuse for it, and there's no place for it on Kick or on any platform, to be frank. So that's something that I think we already are. And if we're not, we should. I think we are already tackling very seriously, and it's one of those priority changes that we're aiming to push across the finish line as soon as possible. So realistically, we agree with you. All of us agree with you. Anyone who would disagree with you, in my opinion, should be relieved of whatever command they hold at Kick. So what you're saying is a no-brainer for everyone. Do you understand? The problem is, right, I think it's unfair how the media, and by media I'm referring to demographics of Twitch who want to see Kick fail, are unfairly giving coverage to these idiots. Do you understand? That is the problem. This happening is one or two people out of thousands who are attending the event. There are so many good interactions. No one wants to give attention.
It's not unfairly. A lot of these folks, a lot of these folks are hired guns because we are disrupting the market. Right. And that's the thing. The thing is when you start and you
hired guns by who? Wait, who are we talking about as the hired guns?
Be careful making accusations. There was hard guns. There was hard guns.
We met because you commented on a post where it was like Kick streamer shoves Twitch streamer into a bus, which that was not accurate at all.
No, I didn't write that. I did not say that.
No, not you. It was Deserto, right? My point in saying all this and what Train is getting across is that we are disrupting the market, and that makes a lot of people uneasy, man. That makes a lot of people uneasy. They do not like the 95.5
This
split.
is so absurd. What you guys are saying is so fucking absurd to insinuate that the criticism that you're getting about the streamers that are doing these things are just because you are an upstart in the market and you are...
Okay, then
invading things, and then people are just mad.
Hold on. Then explain this, Slasher. If that's not the case, okay, I do admit some of the extreme examples that were given may be a little extreme, but then tell us this, okay? And by the way, before coming in this, I didn't know. I thought you were in as like a friendly guest. I didn't know like this was about you. I had no idea what this is about.
This is friendly. This is friendly. To be fair, this is healthy discussion. This is great. This is great. We encourage
What I meant was I thought you were like a special guest to just talk and whatever. I didn't realize that this was off of a tweet you tweeted. I just woke up and this was a last second thing for me. So now I understand your gangbang reference earlier. But anyways, explain this then, okay? Let's use the example that Andrew gave earlier, okay? If it's not about a disruption of the market, then explain why, while a certain streamer was on Kick, every single hour, you saw what will Kick do? Why is Kick platforming? Why is Kick doing this, right? Now that the said streamer is on their own platform, the very platform of all of the complainers, of all of the people that started shit toward Kick, why is no one saying a fucking word? Why is no one saying a word or an uproar about that same streamer on their platform if this is truly not about kick, it's not personal, it's just about the consistent, objective problem?
Can we be more specific here, Train? I have some ideas, but
I think you know.
Sneeko?
No. Andrew, weren't you saying?
Yeah, I mean, Jack's over there. I mean, Sneeko, you referenced it. I mean, we no ill will, right? I think that's another good example of this virtue signaling that comes out of other platforms and then not taking any action that you just mentioned.
Yeah. So where's the same uproar? Like at the end of the day, I would have to do more research for me.
I'm actually going to be honest. I did not know Jack started a Twitch stream yesterday until now.
Well, that's what happens when you come on these things, right?
No.
Prepare yourself.
You
have to make sure that you know.
Hold on, Andrew. Ignore that part. No. What you just said right there, Slasher. That's our entire point. Do you see that? The fact that you didn't know, and I promise you, 99%. You're not the only one. I didn't know. 99% of Twitter doesn't know. 99% of the people who are upset don't know. Why is that? If it's not about Kick and the disruption that Kick has caused and it's not personal, why does nobody know now where he is?
Well, okay. Personally, he did a stream for 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and he never went back live again. I believe personally that everyone would want him banned from Twitch. This is not a Kick specific thing. Everyone, I'm sure if you took a poll of the entire streaming community, you get a 95% hit rate for Jack should be banned on Twitch as well. For this specific example, no, it's not specifically about Twitch. No one would want to see this person either. Just to be honest.
I think just going back just one really quick second. I think from our side, right? Like again, we're not in disagreement in terms of like where standards need to be set, right? And what we believe to be like appropriate behavior with streaming. And I think we are demonstrating that in the change of policy and the continued enforcement on bans, right? We are figuring out and understanding what moderation means, and we're doubling down on what we need to do better, right? But I think just I think what Train and Andrew are kind of mentioning here is like realistically, like we use TwitchCon as an example, right? I think there was 2 streamers from Kick there that like caused issues. Right. And there was hundreds of Kick streamers there that caused no issues whatsoever. Right. And again, it's not acceptable by any means, but does that mean the whole platform itself is like a terrible place to be? Did it warrant that level of uproar? Like, again, there was, I think there was like a bit of a sort of headline around some like borderline sexual assault that went on between 2 Twitch streamers. Not sure if you saw that. That got like zero coverage, right? However, one Kick streamer just doing like anything just like blows up, right? I'm not saying it's excusable, but I think there is this slight disproportionate reporting around Kick, right? And again, is that because of some of the reasons being applied? I don't think so. I think it's just like trendy right now to kind of like go like Kick streaming to X, Y, and Z, and it tends to like get like a lot of views and whatnot. But again, I think the representation of Kick as a whole is a little bit unfair. That's my personal opinion. Maybe I'm a bit delusional and a bit biased, but I must say I think now.
I mean, kind of. You guys are attributing this to like the media attention and the bias and the media attention, when you would have to be completely ignorant to not see that you brought the perception of the brand as a whole on yourselves to everyone. It is entirely negative, not just with big streamers, but with brands, advertisers who may want to go on the platform due to these issues. It is not the media is not twisting things, in my opinion. This is something that you brought this on yourself. Like, this is happening because of the policies that you have.
I don't know if we brought it upon ourselves. I'll tell you what. I like to say we're learning. We're learning. Kick is still very young, right? Kick is still very young.
But it is not a coincidence that there continually be this many incidents on the platform. And we have gone through this with Twitch for many years about all the problems that they have had. But for a good amount of time, they have cleaned up a lot of the major issues that are there.
What do you mean it's not a coincidence? But what do you mean it's not a coincidence? Furthermore, listen, don't actually answer. That's rhetorical. Listen, Listen,
But
listen,
just
no,
starting-
no, listen,
no,
listen, listen.
starting this
Twitch's-
conversation-
no, but Twitch's policy answers your question.
But
The fact, just hear me out, Slasher. The fact that when someone on Kick gets banned for something terrible and they are not banned on Twitch is exactly why you are seeing streamers on Kick do things that we have to act after the fact. We're not tracking people. We can't carry over bans the same way Twitch isn't carrying over bans from our platform. Therefore, when there's a new platform and there's 0 bans, we have like a 5-year window to learn to create this ban list. If 5 years from now, we're still allowing dark, terrible, shitty stuff happening, then yeah, you can tell us that. We brought it on ourselves. But right now, everyone has a clean slate. Do you understand? The same way Twitch in its state isn't carrying over bans from YouTube, from Facebook, and from Kick, we can't carry over bans from Twitch. Therefore, we're going to have to sort through the shit for the first 3 to 5 years. So it is not fair for people to not understand that basic logical concept and to play stupid when it comes to Kick, but then make excuses when it comes to Twitch. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, Slasher, just to add on to that, because you mentioned brands, right? You hit us with brands. I got to disagree with you that, man. Look, we headlined DreamHack alongside with Lego, alongside with the Racetrack, alongside with Monster, alongside with Kedaya, alongside with DHL. I could go on and on and on, right? We do not get side by side with those brands without vetting, all right? I could go on and on about the list. Elgato has done business with us. Gamers Advantage has done business with us. I just want to quell this idea that brands just simply are not talking to us.
I'm not saying that no brands are not talking to you. And I understand the DreamHack partnership has gone really well. I think it's been great, actually, to see Kick streamers and at the DreamHack Festival events. I think that is a big positive, for example, in terms of partnership. But there have been many managers and agencies from UTA to Loaded to IMG that have all said, including the UTA and to the New York Times, as of right now, Kick isn't the most brand-friendly platform.
Do you know why?
So if you want to do deals, you have to be active on the other platforms.
But do you know why? These are agents and managers you're talking about. You don't think that they come in meetings and tried to leverage that to get a bag for their client?
Of course, and they did this between Facebook and Mixer and Twitch and YouTube. That is how they got all that money through the platform deals when those were happening a couple of years ago. I understand the agencies are working for their clients. They want the most amount of money for their streamers, but I'm going to take their word for it that out of all the platforms out there, Kick is the one that you don't want to be associated with unless you want to put in extra effort to make things happen.
Incorrect.
Look,
Absolutely
Ninja,
incorrect.
Tim the Tapman, and Dr. Lupo, for example, are 3 streamers that all have had their exclusivity deals run out with YouTube. They are now all multi-streaming on multiple platforms, except they will not stream on Kick.
Because why? Because why, Slasher? Because why?
That is not a coincidence. They're not getting paid by YouTube, and they're not getting paid directly through Twitch in terms of these big deals.
They won't do it. Those platforms won't do it.
Yeah, so they could all multi-stream on Kick right now if they wanted to.
Ninja hat.
They multi-stream on Twitch, they multi-stream on YouTube, and they multi-stream on TikTok and on Twitter. But Kick is always seems to be the one left out.
I'll jump in there for a second because I'm across all those 3 conversations. I've spoken with all their managers. We're like in direct communication. The thing is, right now, Kick has obviously been very generous with giving back to creators, especially large ones. They're not going to lose their leverage there, right? They don't want to take away that opportunity. They're sitting there side by side as they multi-stream, trying to leverage a Kick deal, right? That's the simple truth of it. Obviously, there is brand perception there, but right now they look at that and go, "Why would I go and multi-stream when that completely starts to hurt my ability to negotiate a deal?" That's the honest truth behind that.
That's correct. This is a matter of, once again, your take on this, Slasher. And once again, I don't even want to start our first talking like this. Slasher, you know I love you, and we are good no matter what.
This is fun for me.
Yeah, it's not fun for me.
I'm enjoying myself.
I'm not. It's not fun for me because this kind of stuff's just anxiety ridden. I just enjoy being friends, having a good time, and opening some CS cases. But let me just say this. What you just said is a matter of perception and the exact narrative shift that I'm referring to. You see it as there has to be a reason why everyone's choosing YouTube and Twitch and not streaming on Kick. But right, and you're twisting that into this negative, dark thing. No. What's happening is, listen, you know this to be true. YouTube and Twitch are not handing out deals. They know they're not handing out deals. At this state of in this time, YouTube and Twitch are the platforms you use as a what are those things called where you create them and you present the sponsor?
An RFP?
Yeah, like they're used for that. Do you understand? You stream on Twitch and YouTube, you see what you can do, and then you present them to the platforms you know are giving deals. The moment Kick, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. You and I both know this. Putting aside one or two streamers, everyone is about their bottom line and about their money. All of them. The moment Kick stops handing out deals and it is known, it would be a no-brainer, whether you want to stream on Kick or not, to transition all of your subscriptions through Kick. That is how everyone will operate if and only if Kick gets to a point where people know deals are no longer going out. This has nothing to do with dark or shady, given that half of those streamers have already, I don't want to say anything crazy, but given that half of those streamers are in no position to argue brand friendliness. Do you understand? So let's not pretend we're talking about these brand-friendly PG-13 streamers who don't want to be associated with some shady darkness. That's bullshit. This is literally about leverage and only about leverage. They believe we're paying, and they're going to do what they can to get as much as they can from us. And that's it.
Train, I totally hear you. And I know the streamers and their agents want leverage over the platforms, especially as you guys have been really the only platform, at least lately, to give out the big deals when Twitch and YouTube have, for the most part, stopped giving out these contracts. So I do understand that, but you can't not believe that at least some people are being honest with their assessment. So when Ludwig says every bad platform has their bad eggs, but why does Kick breed so many? Do you only think he's saying that because he wants to stay on the good side of Twitch or YouTube? Or do you believe part of him is actually given an honest assessment of how he views Kick as a platform and how the public, personally, I have to agree with the public perception of Kick is not great. And I feel like you guys have to understand that the public perception of Kick being negative is not a mistake, and that it has been
Can I answer the question,
self-inflicted by you guys for why you're in this situation.
Correct. So
sure.
I'm gonna answer your question about the Ludwig situation. Okay. So if you want to claim that Ludwig's just giving constructive criticism to us, constructive criticism implies that you care about the growth of what you're constructively criticizing. I don't see any of these people retracting any of the disgusting comments they made during the announcement of the inception of Kick. I don't see them retracting a single thing, calling Kick a scam, saying it'll be dead 6 months in and it'll be fully flopped. Do you understand? Once they retract that, then I will believe that this is constructive criticism coming from an honest, wholehearted streamer looking for the best of the streaming world. Then I'll believe you. As of now, all I've heard are slander, libel, and dog shit spewing out of the mouths to get as many views as possible to hop on another bandwagon. Just like gambling, they sat there screaming from the rooftops, gambling is bad, only for them to pick up gambling deals themselves and push the very codes they went against. This has nothing to do about platform or about anything other than what brings views, because there is no other content to cover. It is that simple. So if you want to claim it's constructive criticism, I want to see the bullshit that was spewed retracted. Because guess what? We're 2 years in and we're not stopping at all. The fact that our name is still coming out of their mouths, whether it's negative or positive, is indication that we are doing at least something right. Maybe not everything. You're completely correct. There are some things going on Kick that I wish would be abolished overnight. And I fight for that every day. That's why I'm not live. I'm on strike. I'm trying to get certain things changed. And Eddie is working with me on that. Eddie is working with me on that. I am on strike. Yes.
Trader's on strike until you implement.
I am on strike until certain things are fixed, and he has agreed to fix them, and he's working with me to fix these things. So listen, Kick is not perfect. Yes, Kick has some things and some aspects to it that, yes, are embarrassing, that need improvement. But here's the great part. We're aware of it. If we weren't aware of it, you could slap these titles on us. But we're aware of it, and we're trying to fix it. Here's the problem. People are expecting us to do something in a manner or in a time frame in which Twitch still hasn't done 17 years in, 18 years in. So why are we held to this Superman platform standard while Twitch, 18 years in, is still fucking their creators, is still fucked up on TOS, and is still late to banning certain individuals who they claim should be banned on Kick? Where are the videos covering that? There aren't any. Do you want to know why?
There's a million videos talking shit about Twitch and the bad decisions they make all of the time.
No, not when it comes to Kick. Not to the same power as Kick. I'm telling you.
Delusion, Train. I agree with you that you are a young company and you are a startup and you're going to go through rough times and it's going to be hard. But to say that Twitch has not seen a significant amount of increased scrutiny more than Kick is
not proportionally,
delusion.
Though. Not proportionally. Not proportionally.
It's just because Kick, for its smaller size, just seems to have more problems and more potential.
Not true. I'll give you an example of this. Viewbotting. Everyone wants to jump the gun and say Kick has worse viewbotters. Let me tell you what.
Kick does have
let me tell you what.
I have been covering the problems of viewbotting on Twitch before you, Train. I have been highlighting how many people are abusing embedding, how many people have been abusing viewbotting.
Ignore embedding.
For a forever long time.
Proportionally, Twitch has more viewbotters than Kick, but no one wants to say a word. Do you want to know why no one wants to say a word? Because everyone who complains about Kick viewbotting is viewbotting themselves on Twitch. Do you understand? All of the streamers,
but you
a very good percentage. No, it's proof that proportionally Twitch is more viewbotting. But do you see it advertised the same? Do you see it advertised the same?
To level that up, no one's talking about pixel embedding, which is bonkers.
I have been covering this for a very long time. Pixel embedding, stream embedding. They own Curse for a long time. They offered their own services to embed on websites. They offered their services to advertise on Twitch. Okay, I have been covering people inflating their views on Twitch and faking views and botting for a very, very long time. Personally, this has been reported by Bloomberg. Cecilia has done a lot of reports on this. It's not like this is not a known issue that no one has been talking about, because it is. That is just my point.
It's not a known issue. It's not a known issue.
It is.
Not to the level that it's going on. Trust me, it's bad.
Can't deflect that. Okay, we have a bunch of viewbotting problems on Kick.
We're not deflecting.
However, Twitch
we're asking
does
for
too.
consistent reporting. We're asking for consistent reporting. We're asking for consistent reporting.
There's been more mainstream reporting on viewbotting on Twitch than there has been on Kick.
Brother,
once again, there was more mainstream media attention on viewbotting on Twitch.
Disproportionately. It is easy to say Twitch has had more covering. Yeah, they've been around 18 years fucking longer. You know damn well that is a disingenuous representation of fact. They've been around 18 years longer.
Your streamers, the people that stream on Kick, just want their platform to be better in terms of viewbotting. They don't care about the issues that are on Twitch. They're concerned with their streams on Kick. The actual Kick streamers that you guys are providing for, those are their concerns. When people saw me that I was going to be doing this show, Kick streamers reached out to me, and viewbotting was probably one of the number one things that everyone had been mentioning they feel problems with on their platform. Nothing to do with Twitch and the issues that they have. It's just something that you and your platform needs to deal with.
And Eddie, be my witness. I have fought valiantly. Okay, Eddie, be my witness. I have been probably the biggest thorn in the ass when it comes to the viewbotting problem. All I'm saying is, listen, you're completely correct. Justifying a lesser evil with a greater one means we're already in a fucked up place. So I don't think just because Twitch has more viewbotters or more viewbots that it justifies Kick's viewbot problem. All I'm saying is to claim that Kick has this abnormal problem is disingenuous. Twitch proportionally has more view bots than Kick. Do you understand? So it is clearly a situation. It is something that not even Twitch has tackled. They can't tackle. So unless platforms get together and find a way or find a solution for this, we're not going to find that solution. Let me tell you why, okay? Because right now, platforms have plausible deniability. Do you understand? You want to know why, Slasher? You want to know why? Because the numbers, right? The platforms aren't making the numbers or reporting the numbers. The numbers are being reported by whatever streaming service they're using. So the platform itself has a plausible deniability, the same way the streamer has a plausible deniability of viewbotting. The platform has a plausible deniability of the streamer of viewbotting because the numbers are being reported, the legitimacy of it is being reported by the streaming service. So the only way this will be fixed is if the streaming service is somehow put into a position to better their system and to better their algorithms. You understand? But that's not going to happen. Why? Because who benefits from this? Nobody. Nobody benefits from viewbotting stopping until the bigger companies, the sponsored companies, the sponsorships, the big corporations who invest in streaming realize that the numbers they're paying for aren't 100% accurate. Do you understand? This is what needs to happen. So if you want viewbotting fixed, it's not a Kick thing.
I might jump in there for
YouTube
one
Kick
second.
thing.
I think to be fair, like obviously Kick right now runs no ads. We got nothing to gain from viewbotting at all. Like it's actually really detrimental because it just demotivates like a heap of other creators. We've actually put in place a lot of process behind the scenes. You got to be really careful with viewbotting because if you kind of like mention the process you're putting in place, the viewbotters kind of get smarter and stuff. But you know, these last 3 to 6 months, we've added a lot of stuff which is unprecedented in the industry. A lot of that because of the fact that we're actually not making any money off viewbotters. They're just a real pain in the ass. Again, it's a really hard problem to solve, though. It truly is. It's much harder than you think because, like, the moment you plug one hole, they kind of figure out the next. And social media in general is always going to face an issue with inflation of followers, of views, of likes, or whatever it is. It's just naturally going to be a problem that goes on forever. But I must say, Kick is the one platform right now that has zero things to gain, nothing to gain from viewbotters apart from the fact that it just like pollutes and damages the brand and again it just upsets people. So I think we've made some really good strides in that, but again that doesn't get reported. That doesn't really get celebrated, and we don't expect it to be. It's kind of just a given, but I do think we're making some good progress there. We are.
We've done more for viewbotting, right, for anti-viewbotting than Twitch has in 18 fucking years. Do you understand? So this is a problem, in my opinion, that can only be corrected on a platform level. Do you understand? On a platform level.
Yeah, I recently got hosed by talking about it, and you can definitely look that up. Talking about the things that we've done against viewbotting and actually using case scenarios. The other thing, Slasher, I just want to just point out is that when we talk with brands, man, there is a discussion that is always had around Kick does not pass off impressions for views. Okay, so when a brand comes in to broker a deal, they expect a number of views when you work with the platform. No one can guarantee views. But this is what's been the last 20, 17, 15 years of live streaming. The idea is that if I am XYZ brand, I'm going to come in and drop X amount of money and I'm going to get this viewership. Passing off impressions for views is something that the industry internally has to grapple with because we don't do that. We don't do that for brands. And what we do is we bring authentic viewership. When we partner with someone, that's always a discussion that we have to have. So, to Train's point, like the broader scope of that needs to all change in order to combat botting or passing off impressions for views via pixel embedding.
I think to kind of because I do want to give I do want to like validate some of the. So I do believe, Slasher, you present some good constructive criticism. Okay, I just want to give you a little because I feel like everything can't be denied because we're not perfect. We make a lot of mistakes.
No,
okay?
I'm always right. So thank you. I do
No, you're not always right. But regardless of that, yeah, listen, when it comes to certain individuals on the platform, just know that I am against that. We are against that. I don't think anyone's perfect. I'm not perfect. I think everyone makes their mistakes. But there are certain things that when they happen, it's a no-brainer that it shouldn't be allowed on any platform, no matter how flexible the rules are. And I think even the edgiest of people would agree to that. So realistically speaking, the things that you're talking about, even though I believe they're reported unfairly and they're reported disproportionately relative to the streamers that are putting hard work in, I agree. These types of people should be acted against, and there should be a precedent set of what is allowed on Kick and what is not. Do you understand? So in that way, I agree with you. In that way, I do think certain content, right, Kick should put their foot down, and we are putting our foot down, right? I just think that it's not being reported on.
I do believe you, Train. No, and look, the issues that you have with media and how media covers things.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I feel like I really don't think that there is something against Twitch. Just honestly, I feel like Twitch and YouTube also get a ton of scrutiny and criticism, and no one likes any of the platforms. Like every platform, Twitter too, all people do is talk shit about all of them. Does anyone say that they love any of them? No. Everyone hates Instagram. Everyone hates current Twitter. Everyone's pissed off at Twitch and Kick and YouTube. No one likes anything. I actually don't really think it's a thing necessarily specifically against Kick. People are just fucking mad and angry all the time, and that's a whole other
I think the problem is in today's day and age of reporting, I feel like honest reporting, or let me just say this way. I feel like I'm not going to add honest in front of it. I was going to say reporting in general. Reporting in 2024 cannot exist in a capitalistic system. Let me tell you why, okay? If reporters are looking to make their next paycheck, or looking to make as much money as possible, do you think reporting on what is honest will serve them any good? No, it will not. Now, reporting on something that gets them views and guaranteed views, whether that be catering and pandering toward angry people who may not be thinking clearly and who refuse to access their part of the brain that gives them their critical thinking, right? That may be the best option. That's why I believe, especially in today's times, reporting in a capitalistic state is almost, I don't know if the word would be paradoxical. I don't know if it'd be an oxymoron. I don't know what the fuck the word would be. I have to brush up on my dictionary, right?
Paid headlines, man.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to work until there's something, like, if anything, the fucking reporting, in my opinion, the business of reporting should be more closer to a goddamn socialistic system or socialist system than a capitalistic one. Because at this point, I believe reporters are biased and skewed to a level where they want to report on what gets them the most views. Why is that? Because it gets them the most money. And if it doesn't get them the most money, it gets them the most views. And the most views eventually will equate to more money. Do you understand? That's the problem. So you're completely correct. It might not be a personal thing. It might just be something as simple as what will get them the most views. So they might not be thinking, fuck Kick, right? They might not even give a shit about Kick. But guess what? Right now, the hot topic is, how do we make Kick look exactly how the big streamers who carry the views, right? How are we going to make Kick look exactly like that to pander to their bigger audiences? That's what I think it is.
I mean, a lot of the clip farmers that are covering Kick have stake logos imposed on them, so that must mean that stake is paying them. Multiple clip farmers use stake, so that means stake is paying them to do coverage. If anything, I could probably say they're probably incentivized to have positive Kick coverage, considering that stake is paying them to have their logo superimposed on all of their clipping. And you even have maybe a competitor of mine who covers news all the time. He streams directly on Kick. And I don't believe that he covers Kick, has preferential treatment. But I can make the same argument that a lot of the people that are covering Kick are probably doing it for positive reasons. Not that I believe that either.
You could.
I just don't feel, I really don't think that the media coverage has been... Yeah, look, there's a ton of things wrong with the journalism industry and with the media industry, and nothing is really going right. But I actually don't really think that's been indicative of how Kick as a platform has been covered, or Twitch as a platform has been covered.
I think, like I said, I agree with you. I don't think it's a personal thing for Twitch or Kick. It could not be. But I do think that the decisions to cover something are not coming from let me write an article that's showcasing this or that, the facts, right? I believe the initial intention is, this will get me views. Do you understand? This will get me views. And I think that's a problem. I think the views should come second, and first should come due diligence. No
So
one's doing the due diligence.
Well, no, that's not true. I always have when I do stuff.
Okay, yeah.
There are
Let me
real
retract
journalists
that. Yeah,
that
let me retract
do
that.
Wait,
Let me
wait,
retract
Slash,
due
wait,
diligence.
that's interesting. What if we in the sea of bad journalism, all right? If we broad stroke lump you in with that and just say, Slasher, you're a terrible journalist because no one else is fact checking. Why aren't you controlling your industry? Right? Like
Well, people
why
talk
does it-
about quote unquote the media all the time. So this does happen most of the time when people just talk about the media in a general sense. Like, I feel like that's a normal criticism that has been imposed on journalism.
Yeah,
Journalism
drama
is fucked
reporting
up.
and clip baiters are just rage baiters are ruining the idea of journalism. Like there's a couple in chat right now that just like don't stop, won't stop because of what Train was saying on the capitalism front.
I mean, I agree. Aggregators are a lot of the problem. And aggregators aren't the ones doing actual reporting. They're just taking what other people are reporting and then they are rewriting it and then usually making inflammatory statements based off of whatever the origination of the thing is. There are entire accounts that do that. I agree that that is a problem. However, I will say that ironically, a lot of those people have stake logos on top of them so that you are actually paying, Ed, a bunch of these aggregators that are doing a lot of this bad content.
Separate businesses, right? Like we like don't cross them over at all, right? I know you might not believe that, but also
just happens to be on a lot of the aggregators that we're talking about that is writing that misrepresented information just happens to have stake logos on them.
I must say that whole like stake logo like overlay sort of stuff on Twitter, I must say is just like right now it's like we're like 20 steps away from the actual pages. Like we're not communicating with the pages. It's going like
I understand.
Like we are so far removed from like being able to control the narrative. It's just like again, it's a marketing campaign which I've got a little bit.
Well, okay, wait. I have a follow-up
Slasher brings a good point. No, Slasher. Yeah, but before you jump topics, no, I think you bring that up is absolutely great, and I think what we should do, knowing that, is remove the 20 steps in between us and make sure that whoever is posting whatever they're posting, if they're going to post the stake logo, to make sure they're not posting anything that could be misinformation and disinformation. I think you bring a valuable point. If we want to stay consistent with our beliefs, then I believe Stake, which is a separate company,
pages are out of control,
which is a separate company. I want to make this clear, which is a separate company, so I can't use the word us in that, right? Which is a separate company. I believe Stake should also do the same. They should be careful with who they pay for what they post. So I think what you brought up is completely accurate. Now, if we're gonna add, I
want to make
the same. Thank you.
I just want the follow-up to kind of bring what we were talking about earlier with this, and this is for you, Eddie. It's more the definite perception out there is that Kick as a platform doesn't have to make money anytime soon, relatively. It could be a loss leader forever. And Kick as a platform has taken a very lax approach. I know that you've mentioned before that you said you value the importance of constructive dialogue over knee-jerk reactions, often associated with quote-unquote cancel culture. And I generally agree. I don't love the cancel culture type of thing that has been cultivated over the last couple years. But definitely your lax approach is the reason why so many of these susceptible streamers have come to the platform, which has caused a bad perception of the brand to a lot of the outside world, whether it's brands or other streamers. So to the outside world and to me, it makes it seem like there's no incentive for Kick to make money. The entire purpose of the promotion of the platform and the promotion of these edgy streamers is just to divert everyone in the end to play on Stake and to make money through Stake, because that is how you actually make money. I know these are two different companies at this point, but really to the outside, especially to me, it makes it seem like Kick is just used as one gigantic advertising, bring on all the edgy content, let them go wild on the platform, let them make news, even if it's bad news, because all bad news is good news, because in the end, all it's going to do is drive people, hopefully, to participate and to play on Stake. Do you disagree that this is not what's happening? And do you also understand that this is how people are viewing the site and that it's not just Kick to be successful?
So I think the first thing to touch on, right, is the fact that live streaming in general and the costs associated with live streaming is far lower than anyone. Like, everyone looks at live streaming and is immediately going like, this thing is so expensive, it's so hard, because Twitch has for so long preached we have to take 50% of your money because we need to cover our expenses. Like this whole idea of live streaming being super expensive, like someone who's experienced this firsthand, like building a platform from the ground up and maintaining one, the costs of running a platform are far lower than anyone anticipates, right? Obviously for Kick, like the long-term goal is to introduce advertisements, right? But introducing advertisements on user-generated content is very difficult. Being able to successfully monetize user-generated content is fucking hard. Like, it is incredibly hard because you're not just dealing with the brand itself, you're then dealing with individual brands, you're dealing with deals that have to like not only just run through Kick, they have to run on certain channels. And obviously if you burn advertisers, it's very difficult to bring them back. So we're being very, very cautious about starting our advertising journey. We want to make sure we're in a really good spot before we start outreaching to advertisers, building those relationships, because once you burn an advertisement route, it is so hard to get it back. It is so hard to get it back. So we're being calculated. We're being surgical in how we execute on our advertisement strategy. Advertising can go a long way, especially with live streaming. You know, the fact that you mentioned stake just goes to show how much money there is in live streaming if you advertise correctly. If you advertise correctly, live streaming is so powerful. It is able to monetize. It is able to be sustainable. It is able to continue to be an incredibly profitable business venture that Twitch and you know has never figured out and claimed to be unprofitable all these years, and subsequently has just started taking 50-30% of their creators' money. We're completely against that. We know we can monetize it, but if we went ahead and started running advertisements prematurely until we're in a better position, all we would do is burn these bridges with advertisers. That's the way we view it right now. So we're taking our time, we're getting our house in order, we're making sure that everything's ready to go. But in the interim, we talk about, hey, look, Kick is so bad, but Kick is fucking growing. Like, we're talking to Nazar from StreamsCharts before. Like, if you look at Kick's growth chart these last 2 years, it's just up and 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 up. And it's just growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, right? Obviously, people keep talking about, oh, Kick has looked so badly. It mustn't be doing too badly because we're managing to grow. We're putting a dent in the industry. We're continuing to disrupt, right? We're continuing to attract incredibly talented creators who are making really, really, really entertaining content. Of course, there's some people that have pushed the bar way too far. We've taken action and we're going to continue to take action because there has to be a line that we draw in the sand where we say that's bullshit, right? But to come here and say that like Kick's only goal is to advertise for stake is the most ludicrous thing ever. I would not waste my time, putting so much fucking time and effort into building a streaming platform when I could go advertise in 150 other ways to advertise stake. If we wanted to dump this money that we're putting into Kick, this time and effort we're putting into Kick to advertise stake, I can tell you from a business perspective, there is 1,000 other ways we would invest that time and that energy into other than building a whole entire new platform or company dedicated to it. So just to rebuttal that, like, that's complete bullshit. Like, whether you believe me or not, that is not the case. Kick is here to take over the live streaming industry. It's here to look out for creators. It's here to give the power back to creators, here to make sure that we keep this place fair. And again, we're on a mission here to do exactly that. But, again, it gets lost in a lot of these headlines. It gets lost in a lot of this criticism. And again, rightfully so. We're learning along the way. And I think we're making a lot of steps in the right direction. I think, at the end of the day, it has been less than 2 years. I think everything you bring up, Slasher, is like completely fair. And I completely understand where you're coming from. Like, we're not sitting here denying anything. We're not trying to pretend that we're, completely perfect, right? Like, we understand the flaws that we've got. But, to sit here and say that, hey, look, this is all not genuine and some sort of rouse, I think is completely wrong. Because Kick's goal here is to lead the live streaming space, and we'll get there. That's exactly where we're headed. And again, going back to the data, despite all the bad headlines, we're continuing to make progress towards exactly that.
I thought Train was gonna maybe jump in. No, that's good to hear. I mean, that's definitely just how people view it. Twitch is not going to be profitable probably anytime soon. It's not like Twitter is going to be profitable anytime soon. Tech companies being profitable, I don't really expect Kick to ever reach profitability. So I assume that's not a goal in the near future at all, right?
No, profitability is the goal for sure, man. Like it has to be the goal for longevity. I think realistically, though, we have to understand that these goals have to be set in a relative time frame. I'm positive. I'm 100% positive through advertising, Kick can be profitable. Again, I think we're looking at a situation here whereby some of the costs and the transfer pricing between related entities are misconstrued in a way that the accounting can come out to a very beneficial case. When I think some companies say they're unprofitable, I think they're looking like they're unprofitable on their accounts for taxation reasons. Because when you're charging one service to another related entity, you're allowed to charge a certain price, right? I think you'll find that the economics, based on our experience of dealing at data at large and the actual expenses incurred with live streaming and the understanding of where advertising comes in, that these platforms are actually doing pretty decent. There is money to be made on these platforms if done correctly, and I think they are doing it correctly. I think a lot of this narrative is actually incorrect, and the analysis that we've done on the industry, the analysis that we've done into advertising and what can be done if it's done correctly and effectively, is that this is possible. Again, maybe I'm completely wrong though. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm missing something, but I've dug deep. I've dived deep into this subject. I've looked into it a lot. That's my job, right? My job is to understand this industry and make the most informed decisions I can. And I am at this point in time completely certain, and I will continue to make bets on this because what we're doing, we're betting on it. We're betting on this industry. My bet is that we will be able to make this profitable and we will be able to make this into a successful long-term business. And I am, again, at this point in time, completely certain, unless there's something I'm completely missing, I do not buy that live streaming cannot be profitable. YouTube is doing it. Every other streaming platform is profitable. They're all pulling it off. Why is Twitch not profitable? Personally, I think it may be because of the relationship between their data service provider and the entity they sell to. Maybe that pricing there has been done in a way which is beneficial from an accounting perspective. That's my guess.
Hey, real quick to add to that, Twitch was, look, Justin TV was never purchased because of the culture. It was purchased because of the tech, all right? And if you don't think that that's transferred over into AWS and IVS, like, that's bonkers, right? The other thing, man, is like to double down on what Eddie's saying, like, look, at one point, like radios, TV broadcast took over radio, right? Cable took over TV broadcast. Live, streaming has taken over, the Hulus, the Paramounts, the Netflixes of the world have taken over the cable box. There's a new category that's rising. It's called live streaming. We're not concentrating on streaming. We're concentrating on live streaming. And I think it's very convenient in the short run to look at like, oh shit, Kick is just a funnel for steak. That's the short-sighted look at things, right? The long-term look is, holy shit, live streaming is more interactive than, let's say, streaming Netflix or Hulu or the like. Like, why can't this media that is more interactive, that connects you and gives more power to the creator, that removes studios, that removes producers, that removes big corporations and taking over narratives, why can't this be the next thing that dominates media consumption? It's good to have your camera back, man.
Oh, yeah. Did not notice. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, look, Dan Clancy, Twitch's CEO, was asked about you guys and, where you fit in his opinion. And his answer was that it doesn't even matter if Kick gets our streamers. The entire point should be to grow all of live streaming. And that if live streaming in general does not grow, then none of the platforms are going to succeed. Yeah, and I generally do agree with that.
No, if he believed that, he wouldn't be taking massive amounts of, I'm not going to say taking, stealing subscription revenue from its creators. If that was true, he wouldn't have taken for Kick to be created, to create a non-exclusivity clause on Twitch, which is, by the way, a very insecure clause where you have to focus on Twitch. If you're already a powerhouse platform and you believe any of this, you wouldn't create a non-exclusivity clause that makes you maintain and focus on Twitch. Otherwise, you get banned. That is a disgusting clause. You will allow the creator to stream wherever they want and put focus equally across all platforms, just like his political answer that you gave was. But he doesn't do that. He wants Twitch to be front, center, and front focus, whatever the fuck the saying is. I think he's answering a political way because Kick has come a distance he didn't expect. If he truly believes what he believes, I want that done in features released. I want that done in action, not in bullshit political words. That is the problem right now on Twitch. And no one is holding him accountable. Why? Because he's doing live streams with all the creators across the platform. That's enough. That's enough for the sheep of Twitch to ignore that they are stealing their money. Subscription revenue is not a relevant source of income or even a major source of income for live streaming platforms. And yet, Twitch has its entire hand, its entire body in the fucking jar. And no one is saying a fucking word. It's disgusting.
People are frustrated with the increased splits that Twitch has put on and the increase in sub prices. People are mad and people are angry about this. A lot of it, though, is above damn. These are Amazon directives towards Twitch toward damn to get the company to be profitable. That is why they had to lay people off, even more employees off. So a lot of the issues that Twitch has, even Dan can't control because Amazon, like Twitch is in the doghouse within Amazon, within the companies that makes a lot of money for Amazon. Twitch continues to decrease down the ranks in terms of priority over there. So Twitch has a lot of internal problems to why they have to continue to try to drive up prices to get to profitability. You guys, as a startup, and without having to be owned by a major American corporation, which is trying to, drive as much revenue as possible, does not have to deal with those same issues. Like YouTube is profitable. It's not like YouTube Live is making a ton of money. YouTube is just making money to subsidize YouTube Live. Yeah. That is why YouTube Live can exist, is because YouTube is making a ton of money. I really highly doubt that YouTube Live as the individual product is like doing gangbusters over there. I mean, like they launched YouTube Gaming a couple years ago, and that got folded back, that got killed off and folded back into YouTube. So like even YouTube is having problems making what we see as the live streaming market works. I do think overall there is still concerns with the entirety of live streams. And to like add on to that, Dan also mentioned in that interview that, him and Twitch and YouTube have stopped doing, for the most part, a lot of those exclusive deals. And he said, as soon as Kick stops paying them, they're going to come right back to Twitch. That happened with Mixer, that happened with YouTube, that happened with Facebook. They were paid and then they came right back. Do you agree with his assessment, Ed?
I agree.
Feel like
I agree. If we
you
give
don't
up,
want to hand out those deals anymore.
I agree if we give up before we take over. But if Kick takes over, then they ain't going back. That's the thing. You can't go ahead and invest all this money if you're not going to see it through. Like I said, I'm making a bet on this industry, and I'm going to keep on doubling down.
Are you not concerned that when XQC's deal is over and that when Nick Merckx's deal is over, that they're not going to go straight back into a multi-stream Twitch YouTube combo?
If we ended their deals today, of course, that would do that because Twitch is bigger. Twitch has a bigger pool. Of course, they're going to do that. But what if we think about 2-3 years from now and we take a look at that graph that we currently see where Kick is continuing to grow, but Kick ends up switching that around? Are they going to go back to the smaller platform? No, they won't. That's the difference. If we go ahead and invest in 1-year deals, 2-year deals, 3-year deals, of course that doesn't make sense. That's why when we invest in these deals, we look at it not just as a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, a 3-year deal. It's a 5-year, a 10-year deal. We need to make sure we get to the finish line. If we're going to invest big money in these people, we invest in it the whole entire fucking way until we win. Because if we go ahead and drop them now, of course they're going to go back. They're still the bigger fish. They've still got 11 million followers on Twitch versus 1 million on Kick. Of course they're going to move back. Again, this is a long-term play.
XQC doesn't have a 5-year deal. XQC could leave.
XQC could leave on his own domain.
He was your biggest acquisition so far. Was he not? So then why not his deal? Why wasn't his deal as long as you just mentioned if he was a priority?
From a platform perspective and from a negotiations perspective, of course, like the time length of deals and what gets signed doesn't indicate our future intentions, right? Our intentions at the beginning to make a move are very different, right? For a platform, our best situation is to have the longest term deals possible. Doing a month-by-month deal is best for us because if someone's motivation dips, then we get rid of them, right? We don't want long-term contracts, but that doesn't mean we don't want to work with people long-term, right? That completely goes against that. So just because XQC's contract comes to an end doesn't mean we're dropping him or we're not going to renew it or continue to work with them, right? Our goal is to continue to work with everyone for as long as possible. But obviously, when a platform is brand new, we have to say, okay, we'll give you 12 months, 24 months or something to make the plunge, right? People aren't going to come for a 1 month deal, correct? So we had to offer long-term deals. That doesn't mean our intention isn't to work for people really, really long-term. That's not that's a lot of people's deals have expired and now they're on continued, 3-month renewals, 1 month renewals, etc. So again, to answer your point, of course, at this given moment, a lot of those bigger people, they would go back. They would go back because they've got a huge following, a huge critical mass at that platform. But I think if we continue to see this through, not for the next 1 year, for the next 2 years, but the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ahead, and we can flip the tables on this, then of course, I think they'd end up staying regardless. Hopefully it never comes to that though, because I genuinely also believe the creators have the ability to make money on exclusive deals as well. I think that there's room for exclusive deals and for platforms still to turn a profit. A lot of our calculations into how advertising can work allows for room for creators to make money on top. There is room. Advertising is something which is extremely profitable. And again, maybe like I said before, maybe I'm missing something completely here, but I am firm believer that there is a road to profitability whilst also allowing people to have deals which, substitute for their massive audiences that they have. We're talking about tens of thousands of people watching a single live stream at any given moment. That has a lot of value when you're talking about hours on hours on hours on hours. So, I think to Dan's point, we'll prove him wrong. We'll prove him wrong in that one. I can't wait to.
Word on the street from TwitchCon, some little birdies have told me, was that you guys were interested in Kai Cenat, who currently does not have an exclusive deal with Twitch. His deal has come to a close. He did not mention TwitchCon. He did his Sekiro marathon during TwitchCon instead of talking about it at all. Can you confirm that you are interested and or are speaking to him regarding potential for that?
Listen, we'd love to work with Kai, right? We would absolutely love to work with someone like Kai. His live streams that he does, the content he's making, he's changing the game. He's changing it day by day. Will he end up on Kick? I truly believe at some point in time he will. I don't think it's a matter of
Have you put an offer?
It's a matter of
Can you
when.
confirm that you've put an offer now that he's a free agent?
Kick is being very surgical when it comes to offers right now. We're being very surgical.
Oh, he's the number one streamer essentially in North America.
We made mistakes early on. I must admit we made mistakes with how we went about publicizing deals, how we went about offering money, and how we went about attracting talent. We made some mistakes. And going forward, I think the way that we attract talent for longevity and for the long term is to go slow, it's to go steady. And it's not about, making an insanely big offer that someone can't refuse. It's about making sure we understand what they're looking for, how we can give them the platform that they want to be on, and make sure that we're ticking all those boxes for them before we bring them on the platform. Again, back to the point though, it's about if, not when. So it's about when, not if, right? I think we'll figure something out with Kai, and we've had discussions with the team. We've had discussions with everyone, right? Everyone's come to Kick and asked how much am I worth? They've all come to check their price, and then I think it's all about just finding that happy medium which makes sense for them to make the switch, right? But right now we're not in conversations with Kai at all. We're in conversations with the small to medium streamers. That's the one that's the area that we're investing in right now. Right now we're putting all of our money, all of our investment into small to medium streamers, and we're seeing the biggest returns we could. For the amount of money we're investing, for the bang that we're getting for our buck, investing in small to medium streamers is the absolute play right now. And from that point, I think it'll slowly attract the larger streamers as well. So we're going to continue to double down on that approach. That's why we haven't signed massive deals recently. And we're continuing to give back to the small to medium through the KCIP and other initiatives like that. But, again, we'll move back towards those larger guys at some point as well. I think it's going to be great. But hopefully, my hope is that the next Kai Cenat is somebody who's been on Kick from day dot. That's our goal. Our goal is to grow our own homegrown talent. We don't want to have to go snatch talent away from Twitch or YouTube or TikTok or whatever. The future that we hope to have here is that people who started their streaming career on Kick end up growing with us. We support them from the get-go, and they end up becoming the next Kai Cenat, and they registered on Kick, and they don't even have a Twitch account. They don't even, talk about that. That's our goal, right? That is what sustainability in live streaming looks like.
Yeah, look, real quick, Slasher, just to double down on what Eddie's saying on the medium to small creators, about 3/4 of our activations at DreamHack featured medium to small creators. Everyone from Benjamins to Amaze to Dubs Music, who took the main stage at DreamHack, everyone from The Leeway to Demi Sucks, who is reaching larger creator status, did a meet and greet there. Like everyone that took part on the Creator Hub over the weekend, we front page them front and center. Like it's not just like KCIP, it's like live activations. Like it would be very easy for us to parade Hikaru, XQC, Nick Merckx through all these large activations, but we realize that that's not like those are great, awesome streamers, but there's a lot of medium to small streamers that can take the stage at DreamHack and deliver just as well.
You got that Hawk Tua there too.
We got the Hawk Tua. We got
the Hawk Tua. Haley Welch's debut stream.
Strategically speaking, man, she crosses over. And like, I'm done fighting for Twitch viewers, man. Like they're out there. I get it, and this is my own opinion, but I think that there's a crossover audience in attracting people who watch Netflix, Hulu, Paramount. I think she talks to a lot of those people, man. And look, she also is in talking with her, she's donating like, if not all of everything that she's on this crazy ride on, man, she's donating it to charity. It's unbelievable. Say what you want about Haktua, she could be a punching bag for you and all that stuff, but she's genuine and she crosses over audiences. I think that we've gotten a lot of complaints from people who are saying like, why aren't we going after a different audience? Why aren't we seeking all that, right? I'm telling you, I'm not going to disclose her business or anything like that, but what I can fully say, and I know that she will all be on board for me sharing this, it's charity driven, man. It's wild. This person's operating on a different level. This person's not coming in with crypto accounts and 5 different fucking banks to fucking disseminate across global platforms. We're talking about straight up just direct to charity. And if go ahead and Google her page. She has Paws Across America. She is donating funds after funds through this charity. I don't know how she and her team are dealing with other entities, but what I can tell you is that it's all charity, man. It's wild what she is doing in this sector. I've never seen anyone else do it.
So I think the main point to make here is that, like, again, I think this one got blown up by the media and people were saying like $5 million and stuff. Like, again, I'm talking like here, we're talking like
that's just a random Twitter account. Those are problems. Like the things that I saw that I just tweet, just a random dipshit. That's not a real report or anything.
Yeah, we didn't.
No,
like, again, we brought like her on board, right? And again, this is like it's not a multi-million-dollar deal. We're talking nothing compared to like what we're investing into our actual like small to medium creators. So I feel like that one just gets blown out a little bit. And with Kodak Black, right? Kodak Black, he just came on the platform himself, right? We don't even have a deal with Kodak Black. Like, well, again,
he set his car on fire for his first stream.
Yeah, again, the people are out there. They're choosing Kick, right? They're picking Kick and they're using Kick as a natural platform because of the fact that we're not out there offering these crazy deals, right? And again, I think that's as we try to change the narrative around how people choose Kick. On the subject of these people who are choosing not to multi-stream, it's because people feel like Kick has a lot to offer out there. The moment we stop taking away these obscene offers, obscene incentives to people who aren't willing to put in the time is the moment we start to bring people over for the right reasons. And that's a big sort of
okay, wait, I just want to push back on this a little bit. You are telling me that of the two options, you fully believe it is more a negotiating tactic these big streamers are using for why they won't multi-stream on Twitch and not the brand perception that they have towards not wanting to be
I'm
there,
telling you
or
right
their
now,
sponsors not wanting to be there?
We know their agencies, right? We're speaking to their agencies right now, and they're simultaneously sending us an email every 2 weeks. Please look at our offer again. Like, we want to, and they bring this offer down. Like, I'm telling you right now, there's a negotiation concept to it. Is there a brand concept to it as well, though? Of course. I think there is a little bit. But simultaneously, these same people that have an issue with our brand are sitting here saying, can you please accept this deal? Look at this deal. They've got their managers reaching out from 4 different angles constantly. So again, is that double standards? I think it is, right? Is there a negotiation tactic? 100%. 100%.
Anyone you can think of, bro, anyone that you can think of, we have talked to, and it's not by coincidence. We'll talk to them, and then a YouTube video will drop. Or the entire org that we've been talking to will strategically go out on Drama Report or anything else and start dropping misnomers, start dropping misinformation, all that shit, man. Listen, going back to TwitchCon, man, look, that kid did a lot of wrong things and got banned for it, right? But no one's talking about that he was asking the right questions to the wrong people. All right. If you go back and look at a clip of someone coming out of TwitchCon and says, hey, at the time, it being very relevant, why aren't you paying your streamers on time? Right. Or going up to another streamer and saying, hey, what are these sexual assault allegations that are coming out? And then all of a sudden you have a bro caravan totally blocking that. Like, I'm telling you, man, like, this is an intense game that these guys are playing. Rather than just coming over to Kick and expanding the entire live streaming space, you better believe that there's some chess and inside baseball going on that you may not be privy to.
I mean, I'm fully aware of how the agents and the streamers are using negotiating tactics to get leverage, and how they always want to extract as much money as they can from the streaming platforms. I was the premier reporter of who's getting what deals between Mixer, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, during those like 3 or 4 years, 2018 to 2022. So I fully understand that. I just feel like it seems like you guys don't want to take more responsibility, that it's not just negotiate, but maybe I can be completely in the wrong here. I want to feel like these streamers are being honest when they say the reasons they don't want to stream on Kick are unrelated to the deal they may or may not be getting. And maybe I'm completely naive. I can fully see.
I think you're completely right. It does Kick have a long way to go in terms of being more brand friendly, of course, right? It certainly does. I think in terms of what these individual creators have to offer, have to gain from Kick right now, they have potentially more to lose to an extent than they have to gain. I think Kick right now really helps your small to medium creators who don't have these abilities to negotiate better splits on their sub revenue. They don't have the ability to get brand deals. They don't have the ability to leverage their huge audiences to make a ton of money. Kick right now is really beneficial to the small to medium creators. We're giving back 95% of the sub split. We're giving people weekly payouts. We're giving people KCIP, which allows them the ability to start earning on their live streams, right? So for the big guys right now, Kick doesn't have that same incentive, right? Because they don't have the ability to leverage a massive brand deal or a massive platform deal. So of course, I think there is, at the moment, there is that gap between us and those larger streamers. And I think, of course, the brand at the moment has a long way to go. But over time, will that change? Certainly. And, we've been discussing this before, right? It took Twitch and YouTube 20 odd years to start figuring out who they should have on the platform and who they shouldn't, right? And I think we're going to find our footing on that front.
A tweet that Andrew made in response to a Dexerto tweet a couple weeks ago, when Twitch gave Dexerto a statement based on what happened at TwitchCon, saying we want TwitchCon to be a safe and enjoyable experience. Andrew wrote, the Kick versus Twitch narrative further divides creators who deserve a choice in a healthy live streaming market. Profiling, quote unquote, is designed to monopolize the market, stream everywhere, and hold individuals accountable. And I do agree with the latter point of that. However, the Kick versus Twitch narrative, although Andrew, you might purport that it is coming from Dexerto, it's coming from biased media. Much of the narrative started with you guys. It started with the direction that you wanted to make the Twitter account and the social account in terms of how the memes were made, how signings were made to mock Twitch signings, to meme on Twitch at almost any count. You can't say that the quote unquote kick versus Twitch narrative is only coming from the public and was not generally directed by you guys yourself. That was a big part of the attraction of why to come to Kick in the first place, was to dog on Twitch for their bad choices, which I don't have any problem trying to say why 95.5 is way better than 40.60 and that you will get more money off of Kick. But I think it's completely disingenuous to not admit that the divide between the two platforms was definitely heavily started by Kick's own imaging and branding and social awareness.
You're missing a lot of nuance in that tweet. All right. And I'll just be flat out with you. Platforms can go at each other, which is the top part of my tweet. The bottom part of the tweet that I don't know that you're agreeing with or catching is that profiling creators, going after the creator, when a platforms go after the creator, creators lose out. Platforms can go at each other, man. Platforms do in all markets. Brands go at each other. But what you're missing is and what I'm driving home is that as soon as a platform starts going after a creator, starts going after the population, starts going after the audience, that is an old and dated tactic that is meant to monopolize a market, right? If you get the people, the audience fighting amongst themselves, they start to forget who's benefiting from it, right? So while I agree with your assessment that yes, Kick came out swinging on Twitch from a brand perception, platform to platform, Kick has never gone after a Twitch creator. Kick has never gone after creators and saying, if you stream on a certain platform, you are not welcome here. To be honest with you, 75% of the people in our partner program from phase 1, 2, and 3 were all Twitch partners. So as soon as that Dexerto headline came out, and if you read the article, if you read what Twitch actually put out there, right? And giving credit to Twitch, they're saying, look, we just want to create a safe environment. And this goes back to everything that we're talking about that's wrong with the journalism industry right now, the headline industry, is that Dexerto knew that they couldn't just put out a headline that went along with the narrative of what Twitch is putting out there. They had to make it about Kick and Twitch rage. All right. They had to make it about that. And if you really read that article, Twitch is just saying, look, we just want to make a safe place. And the intent of my tweet is, man, platforms can go at each other, but leave creators out of it. When you start profiling and you start othering, you start to monopolize the market. And it's a very sophisticated yet dated tactic.
I hear you. I do hear you on the way that Dexerto reported that. I get that. I get that sentiment. So I agree with you.
I think we just need to get a beer, man. I think I just need to come to Manhattan. We need to get Eddie out there. We need to get Train out there, and we just need all to get a beer.
Hey, I was telling Andrew, Eddie, that Bijan he just bought the Rockefeller mansion here, like a couple blocks away from me. If you ever want to invite me out into
Slasher, just for my own personal knowledge, how much is that mansion?
47 million.
Beautiful. I'm gonna use that in my negotiations.
And Eddie apparently is building the most expensive house in all of Australia.
Yeah, I've already used that in my negotiations.
Congrats, Eddie. Looks beautiful. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, listen, I think
I just put an inflatable hot tub in my backyard. So
I think honestly, again, I'm not gonna lie, it's like 4 a.m. here in Australia, and I feel like I'm starting to lose my ability to make concise.
Wait, a little bit longer, okay, Eddie? Can I have you a little bit longer?
I thought we were wrapping
Just
it
a
up,
couple more.
but okay, we can go a little bit longer.
Okay. I have look. I had actually had some suggestions. Okay, but I had a couple more rapid fire questions. I just want to know while you're here. Who knows? I may never get to talk to you ever again after this, considering how this went. So you know
I
what?
think it's
While
going
you're
pretty
here,
well.
I may as well do it.
I've had a really good time, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. This is what we've been asking for on Kick Talk for so long. We actually want someone to come on and like have like their own opinion. And I like to think to an extent, like even if it's like 1%. I feel like we may have potentially like maybe moved the needle, at least in your perception of Kick. But anyway, that's our goal. Anyway, so I don't think this has gone bad at all.
Hey, well, if you could get Train to start streaming again, then he could do the Scuffed podcast, and this could be a more weekly type of thing here.
I agree.
Train says he's on strike. I think he's just fucking lazy, and between the two,
I agree with that too.
definitely...
Train is fucking lazy. Train, you are so fucking lazy. Anyway,
I'll tell you what, I am on strike, and to be fair, you cannot call me lazy considering the fact I pumped 36-hour streams for 20 months straight. It's not laziness. It's I'm on strike. There's other things going on. I will be back though. Crossed fingers crossed. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
I hear you. Okay, Eddie, just a couple more. You said that it was too early to say if you were going to ban or let Dr. Disrespect stream on the platform. Would you ever offer at this time him a contract, considering he does not have one? Monetization options have not been reverted back to his YouTube stream. Do you have any difference of opinion than what you had a couple months ago?
Yeah, making a deal with Dr. Disrespect, like from a financial and a business perspective right now, would make zero sense, right? Like it would do more harm for Kick, and it would be a waste of money at this point in time, is my opinion. Yeah. I know, again, without getting into drama, I'm just looking at it from a business perspective, it would be a waste of money.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I just wanted to hear it from you. I was told that potentially when Adin Ross interviewed former President Trump on the stream, you guys purchased a Cybertruck for Mr. Trump, which had the great picture of him almost being assassinated on the side of it, which beautiful imagery, by the way. I want to know if you can confirm that you guys bought Trump the Cybertruck.
That was 100% Adin's stream and Adin's stream alone. We funded none of that stream whatsoever. Props to Adin for putting on the stream, but Kick, myself, or anyone else from Kick's side did not fund that stream at all.
Not the watch either.
Not the watch, not the
truck.
None of that at all.
National incident too.
Again, you can ask Adin, you can ask his friends or whoever. That was his own doing. We stay out of politics, man. Like, I'm in Australia. Like, I don't give a fuck about like the whole US politics stuff. Like, it just makes no sense to me personally. But yeah, no, we stay away from that. And it's not a. I think the moment like US politics becomes like the center of a platform, it's kind of dangerous. And I think that's going to be one thing that Kick is going to hopefully be able to do quite well, as we kind of stick away from that. And yeah, we didn't want to get involved in that at all.
Well, look, I don't want to really harp on really any individual streamer. What am I going to do? But Adin is definitely your most notable, maybe the most notable streamer on your platform. Definitely has the longest leash to be able to go do things. And it seems like, questionable stuff does keep happening to Adin, most recently with the hurricane this past weekend, putting potential streamers in danger to go into Hurricane Milton. Someone got arrested breaking into a building because they thought they're going to win Adin's money. He had on Sneeko and Nick Fuentes a couple weeks ago that were doing Holocaust denial on the stream. Does any of this, bring concern? I really didn't want it to make it about any individual streamer, but because Adin is your most prominent streamer and these things do have seemingly happen, do you have any concerns there?
I think, you mentioned the situation with Adin and the recent hurricane stuff. I think that was something which, again, was back to our discussion before, was just born out of thin air almost, and something which was, again, blowing up through these Twitter accounts and everything else of such. In terms of the content style that Adin chooses, yeah, I think sometimes his choice of content, personally, I feel is a little bit out of pocket. I don't personally agree with it. Is it Kick's job to go ban him just because he had one guest on, which potentially has a point of view which is completely against us? I don't think that's our job to go ban Adin over that, personally. Again, I don't believe that Adin and Nick Fuentes and Sneeko should be having those discussions. I don't really like those discussions, personally. Again, that's just my opinion. But does the platform have to go, Adin, you're banned because you did that? I don't think that's right either. So I think, again, our job is to be a platform.
Type of topic that would you make you decide differently?
Oh, fuck yeah, of course there is. If Adin was to touch on
Holocaust denial not aligned to Cross?
I don't think Adin was the one sitting there inciting that conversation, from my understanding. I think that he was, allowing that conversation to take place on his channel. Again, is that Kick's job to go and ban Adin because he allowed that conversation to happen? Again, I think some people will hold the opinion that that is. My opinion is that Kick is meant to be a platform which allows people to create content which can be consumed and entertaining without crossing a line. Was that line completely crossed at that point? At this point, I don't think Adin was the one sitting there creating the one actually engaging in that conversation and pushing the line or going against our terms of service. He didn't breach our community guidelines. So no, he didn't end up getting banned, right? Again, is that something I think this really comes back to what we want to be as a platform, right? And I think Kick needs to be a place where entertainment is able to be consumed. But at the same time, I think we need to make sure we draw the line. And in a lot of examples that you were talking about before, we're talking about what happened with that streamer at TwitchCon and other situations with IRL streaming where illegal activities take place. I think certainly that's where we draw the line. But again, in terms of where people create content and how they can create engaging content, I think we need to allow for live streaming to also be, entertaining. I think if we start cracking down on moderation the same way the accountants at other platforms are cracking down on the monetization, I think you're going to be left with very little to enjoy.
Also, I want to add that I do think, however, that easy and cheap and shock factor content should be, I think we need to keep a close eye on it and maybe better write our terms of service to help protect people from that. Because I do think there's a line from creating content. I think there's a line from creating cheap, damaging content just for the shock factor of views. And I think Adin's aware of that. I think he's gotten better, and I think he will continue to get better. But there are some content styles on Kick that I do think we do need to crack down on in the long term, and I think we will. I think we're working together, and we will. Content is not perfect on Kick. There is still some disgusting trash that I see on Kick, but I see it on a lot of platforms. The important part is that we are aware of it and we are working to better our TOS to kind of attack that terrible content. So don't worry, Slasher, that's my role here. That's me, on the strike that you think is not happening. It's happening for the very reasons that, you're bringing up, maybe not the specific example, but other things that I do see. And I think, Eddie is working with me on that. That's the good news. He is giving me the platform to voice my opinion, and he is working with me and giving me access to the, tools that I need to, fix these things. So don't worry. I am aware of it. I think Eddie's aware of it. I can't speak on the specific situation. I haven't seen the clip. I haven't seen the VOD. But just so you know, I am aware of some of the content on Kick, and I'm aware that some of it needs to go in the long term. Thank you.
Great answer, Train.
Real quick, it is 4 a.m. for Eddie, 4:17. I think that this interview has gone the longest. This is the longest that we've had. So, Eddie,
I want to appreciate it.
I want to check in with you. Make sure that we're all good. And look, Slasher, we have Kick Talks.
I can end on a positive note. Yeah. I have one positive thing we could end with.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Well, before you bring that up, can I bring one positive thing?
Of course you can, Train.
I got to tell you what. I got to say something. I don't know. Listen, Eddie's muscles have gotten massive. I've been looking at those biceps all stream long. I'm happy my camera wasn't on because you'd see my googly eyes over those things. Jesus Christ. I don't know what regiment you're on, my man. Okay, we're talking some SEAL Team 6. Holy shit, those things are huge. And you have the length on them too. Usually people work them out in a way where there's like a 1 inch space between the forearm and the bicep, but his are just fully long. It's like this lean, long thing. And I'm looking at them. He almost has a tan as well. You know, the vascularity is there as well. It's very nice, very interesting. I wanted to bring that up, but continue it, Slasher.
I told you wanted the gangbang at the beginning. All right, I was being straight up, Train. You know, really, thank you, Eddie and Andrew, for talking to me. Hopefully, I didn't piss you off, and we can continue talking in the future. I did tell Andrew, by the way, beforehand, my intent was to talk privately. That was initially the goal. And he's like, no, come on the show. And I was like, okay, but I'm going to be me if we come on the show. So I did give pre-warning, Train, okay, to Andrew. Just want to let you know, I totally did do that.
This was necessary. This is necessary, and this should happen more often. I think censoring and banning, certain conversations that should be had is an issue, and that's all you see on Twitch. Twitch bans and censors, almost everything unless it fits their narrative. So I think we need a platform that allows conversations like this to happen, and I think that's one of the cornerstones of Kick.
I think just on that note as well, last week we had Christabite on, right? You know, she's spoken outright against Kick, and I think one of her quotes in the Sydney Morning Herald here in Australia was, "Kick is a playground for degenerates." You know, again, we invited her on. We want to have.
I had that.
We want to have these conversations. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, like, we're an authentic platform that wants to generate authentic content, and again, these discussions are great. Like, again, I don't think these are what you're bringing up here isn't stuff that we've faced 100 times worse in the media or on social media platforms already, right? And we're happy to tackle it face on. So again, I just want to reiterate that this has probably been one of the most exciting Kick talks, apart from the fact that it's getting a bit late and a bit tired. It's been really great. So again, I think I promise you we're going to have another Kick talk. We're going to bring you back if you'll come back, and I'll make that promise right here, and we can dive into more subjects that are going to continue to come up. So this hasn't been a bad experience whatsoever. We love this, right?
Yeah, and remember, no one is. And remember this: nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. We're all human, and that's okay. Listen, I think the era of, how do I say this? I think what's hurt the streaming industry has been the grouping of brand-friendly streamers who pretend to be perfect, pretend to be robotic, and completely eradicate the human side of things, in which is needed and necessary in creating the best content. I think we need to take pride, or more pride at least, in the fact that all of us, including myself, make mistakes. We are human. It is normal. The important part is we learn from those mistakes, we understand when we're wrong, and we push for bettering ourselves in the long term. Thank you.
Great. That was wonderful, Train. So I guess for me, to end it off, the one thing advice or positive note that I would say is that I really believe that having esports and professional gaming on Kick in a more advanced, real way would go a long, long, long way for Kick in terms of turning its brand image around, and just based on terms of having way more concurrent viewership and consistent viewership across several games. Esports really is why Twitch became a thing to begin with, and how Twitch grew into a billion-dollar business was off the back of esports. Professional gaming has gone through some issues in the last couple years, but it is still, if you combine all the games together, whether it's Counter-Strike or Valorant, League of Legends, Dota and Street Fighter, and all the other fighting games, and Rainbow Six and Call of Duty, if you add all of them together, it is still doing extremely healthy. I really do believe that that Kick could make a lot more inroads into that industry in terms of helping the financing out and having it really be a main staple of the platform. And I would love to help make that happen.
Well, I think, you mentioned such a great point there, right? We look at the success of Twitch, and I think the vast majority of people found out about Twitch through esports, right? They found out about it through gaming. And in the last 12, 24 months, I'm not sure exactly, but they've kind of forgotten their origins, right? So I think, we're in such a unique and such a great opportunity to really seize the moment and help that esports industry out and, almost do exactly what was done 10 to 15 years ago when Twitch rose to prominence on the back of esports, right? And to take those reins and to answer your question, that is something that we're so heavily focused on right now. And in order to achieve that, it's about having the right people on the team. So, if that's a discussion we continue offline, I think there's definitely an opening because it's something that we're talking about a lot internally. And I think that the moment right now is perfect because the whole entire esports industry has just been left wide open for a streaming platform to do exactly the same playbook that Twitch did 10, 15 years ago and rise to prominence in what is currently the largest part of live streaming. So,
I agree. It's just that I have had executives and people tell me they don't feel like you guys are taking it necessarily as seriously.
We had an executive on 2 weeks ago. We had Jason Lake on from Complexity, probably the biggest face of esports within the last 15 years.
I know Jason quite well.
Aside from yourself, we're going to have the M80 guy on next week to talk with us. We got PGL on the platform. We've got Blast on the platform. And if you don't think ESL is a stone's throw away from our relationship with DreamHack, these things just take time, right?
I think also just to cover that one quickly, I think right now, we are recovering from an unhealthy precedent that was set with some of the financial arrangements that Kick made early on. And it's taking time for a lot of these guys to come down to earth and understand, hold on a second, whilst we want to survive as an esports organization, we also need to realize that we need to be reasonable too. So we're slowly chipping away and looking towards finding a sustainable long-term future with these guys. And right now, I can assure you that the Kick will be their best bet, and we want to work with them. There just is a slight misalignment between costings and financials on a lot of these teams right now, and I think they look at Kick as in the wrong light. So we're working on changing that perception, and I think we're going to get there because I know the alternatives is that there is no alternative really at the moment, unfortunately for them, and we will find a way to work with them. Is the way I see this.
There's no reason that Kick could not be the primary destination for several mainstream tier 1 esports. And I really think that I personally think Kick needs it. I think you guys, I know the esports organizations, need some financing right now, but I think at the same time, you guys really need a brand image overview to change. And I do think that the viewership that is still very much consistent and large for competitive gaming, would go a long way for Kick's overall numbers. So personally, I think it would be a match made in heaven if a certain deal could be worked out. And I hope it is.
We got to go to bed. We got to go to bed. We got to go to bed. Hey, Train, thank you so much for jumping in here impromptu. It's amazing. Eddie, thank you for staying up late. Slasher, thank you so much for everything you do within the space, man. You've been doing it for so long, right? It was a big time honor to have you on here. Thank you for jumping into our tweets and engaging in the conversation. This is the only way that live streaming is going to flourish. And I'm just going to kick it over to Eddie. And I just want to thanks to everyone, because this has been an awesome conversation.
Maybe give us a flex or something, Eddie.
Where's your camera, Train? I feel like I'm just talking to an avatar, man. I want to see that face of yours. But hey, Slasher, let's let me drop you a line after this as well. Let's talk directly. It's been an honor. It's been a great conversation. Again, I think you brought up some really awesome subjects, and I think the fact that Train's came on as well. Again, that wasn't even planned. Train rocked up last second. We're like, hold on, do we even let Train in? What's going on? We wasn't even sure what Train was going to say, but I think it worked out amazingly. Thank you for coming on, Train. You're a legend. Obviously, you too. All the support you give us has been great. Here. And again, we will work on getting you to end your strike, I guess, and get you back live. But
come on, Train, don't be a pussy.
You know what? Just for you, Slasher,
The last time you tweeted me, you're like, okay, we're doing it this week. That was like a year and a half ago.
That's been a while. Fuck me. Oh, you want the Scuffed podcast strike to be going? No, Scuffed podcast isn't on strike. It was me, the personal, is on strike. The Scuffed podcast is just...
Yeah, well, we can't do the show if you're not streaming.
Yeah, Scuffed podcast, I will give it to you guys. That might be a little laziness, but it's just, I don't know how I did it back in the day.
Even Devin is
that
back,
was crazy.
okay? So what is your excuse? Let's go.
I might have to bring it back.
Don't you have to fulfill a deal? Don't you have like some hours that you got to do? What, Eddie, is Trey not have any commitments that he has to make in terms of how many hours he has to stream?
My commitment is to my...
No wonder the things aren't going well over there. Fucking can't even get you to stream on a consistent schedule. How the fuck are you supposed to get any of the other streamers?
That's crazy. You know, maybe you're right. Maybe I'll be back. And
I reckon Train's gonna be back pretty soon, aren't you, Train?
I reckon so.
Yeah.
I reckon so. Yeah. Sweet as, mate.
Yeah. All right. I reckon.
Cool. We're wrapping it up.
I reckon that's a wrap. Slasher, thanks heaps. Train, thank you so much, and Andrew, of course, for putting this all together. Really appreciate it. I think it's been a pleasure.
All right. I reckon all of you should have a good day.
All right. Catch you later.
All right. Later, guys. Yep. Catch you later.
Awesome. That was cool. That was different. That was great.
That was
actually
different,
really
man.
fun.
How you feeling? Good?
Yeah, no, it was great. I tell you what. So here in Australia, our daylight savings changed last weekend. So like when like the kick talk normally starts at midnight Australian time. It started at 1 a.m. So now we're kind of going on 4:30 a.m. I'm like, fuck, you know, when your brain starts to shut down a little bit, you start worrying about, you get asked these like super complicated questions around like, you know, the profitability of kick and the overlap with stake. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, it's 3:30 a.m. and I need to kind of answer this with a slight bit of diligence. And so I was like, it's always a good, it's a tricky subject to speak at this time. But again, awesome to exactly what we asked for, right? Exactly what we were asking for when we said, hey, look, we need to bring on some people who are slightly against kick or maybe have their own perception of it. And I personally think that Slasher, again, probably has left, even if it's 1% more positive about the platform, then I think we've done a good job.
He wants to help us with esports, man. It's a win-win. We
got
an advocate. The other thing is that he's professional, man. He's professional. And look, Eddie, I know it's late, so I'm going to let you go, man.
Yeah, awesome, guys. As always, I say this every time, the simple fact that we got so many people here tuning in, wanting to talk about kick, wanting to hear about kick, it means a lot. I see all the verified people here as well. So many people tuning in, hearing us out. Again, the support that you guys give this platform, the support that you guys have been giving us since day dot, you know, the people that have been here since the very beginning, all the way to the people who are, you know, on the platform as of a few days ago. I really appreciate it. The moderators as well, everyone here. It's the simple fact that we have like, you know, this incredible community behind us who actually believe in what we're doing here. And we continue to, you know, do something that's pretty incredible. You know, we're disrupting, you know, an industry that hasn't been disrupted in a long, long time. And it's only thanks to the fact that we have people like the people watching this Kick Talk and the streamers and the communities on Kick right now. You know, I owe everything to you guys. So thank you so much. And we will, I guess we'll be back next week at the same time as always.